Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. We're here live at TPC Southwind for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Today we've had the Pro-Am. Tomorrow everything really gets kicked off. We're here with you for the next 3 hours. Darian Newsom back in the studios producing us, and we've got a fun day planned. A lot of guests, a lot of things to get into. Brett, you've been here a lot longer than I have today. How are you doing this afternoon, and how has your day been out here at TPC Southwind?
It's been outstanding. I got out here about 10:45 or 11, and the rain at that time was probably at its peak annoyance, and that's all it was all day. And I had a chance to dip in and out of that. If you had to probably stay out in it, it probably got to be more of an annoyance, but it was by no means a deluge, which is rare for this property. Because for this property, it is one of the great magnets of all time for any cloud and any rain. But we've dodged it now, and it's all gone in the rest of the week. While August in Memphis, it will be some higher temperatures tomorrow and Friday. Saturday and Sunday just look delightful. If we just nail the weather forecast for 4 days now, we're not asking for what the temperature is going to be in Bogota, Colombia in 200 years. We just want to get Memphis right for the rest of the weekend. And it looks great, and the golf course is in tip-top shape. I've never seen it like this, and we haven't had a super wet summer, but good timely rains, and they can make it rain out here. Yeah, they have, and they've got it ready for the best players in the world, and every player raving about the greens and how true they roll, and these greens always play really tough. I wouldn't say the toughest on tour by any means, because they're all very flat, not a lot of undulation like at some of the other big time tournaments like this one, but it's a stiff test. I was talking with John Farless, and he'll be on with Greg and Eli at his regular time Friday morning at 7:30, and then he'll join us Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock to talk mostly golf. We'll get in some high school football. Yeah. And he asked me how I would describe this course, and I told him like I did yesterday on the air. It is kind of individual. If you took number 4 and number 7 and number 2 and number 9 by themselves, okay. Then the whole compilation of them, the totality of it,
of course,
at the end of it, it totes up to be really tough, according to those guys,
according
to the very best in the world. And while it has some really trouble holes, I don't know that we've got a true signature.
No, and I mean, and I think that's fine.
We don't have the island green.
No.
We don't have 8 at Pebble. No. We don't have take your pick at Augusta National.
Literally. And I don't think that's a bad thing, Brad. I think you mentioned it, the totality of this course and what it can do to you. Yeah, it might not be hole-to-hole the toughest course on tour, but when you put it all together and you put 18, I mean, here's the thing. There's a reason the PGA Tour made this location and this event part of the playoffs, and it's because they want a tough competition for those players, and so it's going to be challenging for all those. I was talking to Zach Boyd earlier at the studios before John's show started, and they did picks on Dave's show, and he was talking about how he stayed away from the top guys, the world best, that top 5, because he said if you look back at recent years, it's been kind of back of the pack guys because of how tough this course can be in that totality. So it's definitely good. But I have some.
Yeah, I love Zach.
Yes.
But I also heard Jason Munn's on with Dave Woloshin, and I liked his take.
What was his take? I missed it.
I'm not overthinking it.
Well, that's
the big boys.
That's kind of been this entire year in golf, hasn't it?
Which most of this field, in essence, big boys, but they're even bigger boys.
Certainly. Brett, I've only been here for a couple hours. I think I got out here. I produced John's show back at the home base, and then I got out here about 1:30 or so. I already have some observations from day one at TPC Southwind. First off, Pronto Pup Stand, I can see it from where we're sitting here at the Hub. Also, great venue here at the Hub. If you're coming out here, you got to stop in here. Especially, I've heard some people talking about maybe a couple hot days, freezing in here. I mean, they've got the AC rolling in here, so if you need to cool down,
I don't think it's bad as last year on first day.
I don't think so either. Certainly not.
And this whole system is set up for Memphis in August.
Oh, absolutely.
And if we get any 100%. Cloud cover, we get Lambeau Field in August.
100%. And so I can see the Pronto Pup stand here. So I told you earlier that I was going to go get a Pronto Pup. And at first, I'd already gone over there to get a bottle of water. And when I was over there, I thought about getting a Pronto Pup, and I'm looking there, and as you know, and I'm sure everybody listening knows, you go to a Pronto Pup stand, they have the Pronto Pups laying out there under the hot lights so that, they can just grab it and give them to you. And there was none laying out. I go, okay, late on a Wednesday, Pro-Am's kind of wrapping up, they're out of Pronto Pups. And so I didn't do anything then, and then I saw somebody grab one and walk past, so I went over there. I got back up there again, no Pronto Pups sitting out. So I asked the young lady working, hey, are y'all got any more Pronto Pups? She said, we're making them to order. I said, how about that?
Right out of the grease.
I mean, right out of it. Unbelievable. Always a great
cardiology approved.
Absolutely. It was delicious. It was delicious. That was one takeaway. Also, I was walking by the driving range over there. A lot of guys out there getting up shots. A pro move.
Did you stop and watch Jake Knapp? Oh, that's a cheap shot.
That was a cheap. Thank you. That's my guy. I'm gonna have to find him tomorrow.
3:06. That's not necessary.
No. Too early to be throwing shots. Maybe around 4:00 when John's with us. So I'm walking by the driving range, and they have that little concession and bar area right there. And I don't know if they've had this. It's the first time I've noticed it, but they have kind of a seating area there now.
That's where we used to be. Were you ever with us? Because you've been here as long as I've been
here a while. Yes, it feels like I've been here forever. But so they have that set up, and there's a guy sitting there who brought his own rangefinder so that he can watch and see how far these guys are hitting it. Pro move by that guy.
Okay.
I mean, that is...
Did he have on soft spikes?
No, I didn't. Brett didn't look down at his shoes, but all I saw was the rangefinder.
At every course, when we all wore the nails, there'd always be that one guy
I love that.
wore his shoes with the nails on from home.
It's great. Clanking around while he's walking around.
That's trying too hard. Rangefinder on the driving range.
That's
okay. Teach his own.
That's true. I'm glad you brought up Jake Knapp, Brett, because
that was a cheap shot.
Well, it's okay because actually you led me right into something because you've mentioned both Jake Knapp and Jason Munns in the first 6 minutes. Jason Munns has a story over the Commercial Appeal where he wrote about the 5 best groups to watch for the first 2 rounds of the FedEx St. Jude Championship.
Number 1 has to be Scotty.
It's got to be. Here are the top 5, starting with number 1. I don't know if these were in order. It sounds like they're in order. So
Jason Munns has been out here knocking it out today.
Yes, please, Jason. If you hear this and it was not in order, please don't come for me. Number 1, Scotty Scheffler and Xander Schauffele. Number 2, Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa. What a great 2 groups.
I think unarguable for both.
You can't beat that. 3, Tommy Fleetwood and Cam Young. 4, Sahith Theegala and Hideki Matsuyama. And the 5th group, Max Greyersman and Mackenzie Hughes. 5 great groups right there.
Greyersman, kind of seeing how he responds to last week.
Young guy. He's kind of been around at the top the last couple of weeks.
That was a classic.
It absolutely was. And an older guy, Mackenzie Hughes, with him. So, Brett, I went ahead and put together my group power rankings going into the...
I feel naked and afraid.
Well, it's okay. It's all right. We got a couple of OLIs on here. Your guy, Bob McIntyre, and Sepp Straka in the same group.
Let's put a little more respect on the sweet left-hander Bobby Mack. He's won twice this year.
He absolutely has. Great group there. OLI, couldn't get him in there. Other OLI, Russell Henley and Tony Finau, another great group.
Georgia Bulldog
right there.
Russell Henley.
Absolutely. Now we're getting to the top 5. Will Zalatoris and Jake Knapp. Brett, that group screams Bryant Dacus. I mean, there might never be another group
with Lucas
that screams.
Glover not here, and with Will Zalatoris unable to play last year with the injury, isn't he de facto defending champion since he really never played since he won here?
That's a great point. He never had an opportunity to defend it, so I think you're right. He's defending champ.
Any more on your list?
Yes, that was number 5. Number 4, Tom Kim and Cam Davis.
I'm there.
Another good group.
I followed Cam Davis some in the Pro-Am today.
Yeah. Oh, wow. How'd he look?
Great. Let me tell you, the angle he takes off the tee on 2 is not the angle most of us that play TPC Southwind takes.
I doubt it. Number 3.
And with RT, 100 yards shorter.
Yes, that's another great point. Number 3, Justin Thomas and Brian Harmon. Another good group. Wow.
You know what that is.
What?
That's Bama versus Georgia.
Sure is. A little SEC flavor in there. Number 2, Wyndham Clark and Ludwig Aubert. Another great group right there. And then number 1, I tried, if you couldn't tell, this whole list, I was trying to stay away from Jason Munns' list, but I had to. You can't make a list and not have Scotty and Xander. But the point with all of this is I just went through basically 10 different groups, 9. Actually, I had 2 LLIs, so it really is 10 or 11 groups. All of them, I think, are great, and that just highlights being top 70. Every single group you're going to see out here is going to be a great group.
My next line of commentary is it's not complaining. It's really just defending and standing up, sticking up, not standing up, and they don't need me to do it, but sticking up for Mr. Fred Smith and the great global reach of FedEx. These players are all independent contractors.
Yep.
They are very enticed to come here. Thank you for doing so. Some of them don't have to.
Right.
Some of them are already qualified for the next leg next week at Castle Rock, and then even some already into East Lake in 2 weeks, the Tour Championship in Atlanta. But we saw that great picture yesterday of the gold, silver, and bronze medal winners from the Olympics. How Scotty Scheffler couldn't have packed the gold medal.
Wow.
Yeah. He wasn't going through baggage claim.
I think.
I mean, he flew private here. Yeah. And what I would have, and I wanted this. Why wouldn't Scotty Scheffler, in a very posed, professionally produced photograph, in that green jacket, gold medal around, and then you have Xander Schauffele with the Wanamaker Trophy and the Claret Jug. You have those pictures, and they signed though, and they may have sent stuff. I don't know. Sure. They may have sent stuff, but you send that to Fred Smith and thank him for what FedEx has done for the PGA Tour, and you sign a bunch of other stuff for their sponsors and their customers.
Absolutely.
And they may.
Sure.
I don't know that, but he didn't have the gold medal on in that picture yesterday. And it's no big deal.
Sure. It would have looked cooler. It would have been a cooler picture.
For what Fred Smith has done for this town, this course, this club, this tour, this business entity.
Yeah.
I don't think you could thank him enough.
Oh, no, I'm definitely with you. I mentioned we're out here at FedEx, at the FedEx St. Jude Championship all week long. Today's Wednesday. We'll be here tomorrow and Friday. And I got to thank all of our sponsors that made this possible.
Because I love on our sponsors.
Yes, you absolutely do. You walked me right into it. Our title sponsor, Landers Ford. We're going to be giving scoreboard updates all week long tomorrow and Friday. Our scoreboard sponsor, giving us all of our scoreboard updates, Sissy's Log Cabin, and all of our other great sponsors like First National Bank and Trust, Jason's Deli, Wade Incorporated, your North Mississippi John Deere dealer, Ronnie Grisani's Town Village at Audubon Park, Banyan Tree Realtors, Wilson's Power Wash, DeSoto Honda, Jim's Place, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, and Memphis Tourism and the Memphis Sports Council. We're here at the Hub on 18. Come by. They've got a lot of great things to do in here. I mentioned Pronto Pup Stand right across the street. We've got the gift shop right across the street from us, cooling stations. We got a bar here so you can get some
cell
drinks.
Phone, power stations.
Stop by our table because we are giving away tickets for Memphis and Troy, a big game. Brett, we've been talking about that game. Almost a trap game right there before really Florida State, a good Troy team. I know they lost their head coach, and they announced.
Don't tell anybody. Spoiler alert. The Tigers aren't working on anything for North Alabama.
No.
It's all game plan for Troy. It's not going to be the trap a lot of are concerned about.
You're absolutely right.
That's opening day for the Memphis Tigers.
You're 100% right. So if you want tickets for that game, Memphis versus Troy, make sure you stop by, register to win, and hopefully you will be the winner. I saw earlier today, actually, Troy football in the news today because they announced their starting quarterback. I don't remember. Yes, I saved it. Do you know the starting quarterback's name?
I don't.
For the University of Troy, Goose Crowder. Oh, Goose.
I don't. Well, it sounds like he's out of Central Casting, doesn't it?
I mean, it's a great name.
Isn't that like a remake of The Longest Yard?
It's got to be something, you know. Goose Crowder. 6'2", 210 junior from Alabama.
Am I right? Troy's won 22 games the last 2 years. Has it been 11 each year?
I believe it.
I know double digits. The last 2 years.
Yeah, I don't want to swear to it, but that would not surprise me. I know really, really strong team last year, and the year before also had a really good team, so that wouldn't surprise me. I mean,
saw
this is a good team coming in.
2 years ago. That was against Ole Miss, and that was a lot of Dart split a lot of time with Luke Altmaier that day.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that.
But didn't beat them very badly.
No, so last year 11-3, and then in 2022. 12-2, so yeah.
23.
Wow, that's incredible. So, yeah, a really good Troy team despite losing their head coach coming in. Again, if you want a chance to win those, stop by and register to win here at the Hub. Also, keep listening today because we have tickets to give away for tomorrow's round here at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. We'll be giving those out, 2 pairs of those. So listen the rest of the show, and we will give those out a little bit later.
You know, Brian, I joke through the years, and it's true. I'm not making it up. A lot of people will stop and ask me directions, thinking I'm I guess older.
Sure.
Got a credential.
Sure.
I got a first today.
Okay, what's that?
Nice person stopped me and asked me if I was a doctor.
All right.
I said, no.
How about that?
I'm not a doctor.
I'd be honored if someone asked me if I was a doctor.
And 1 year, I was, but I said, you look like one.
Okay.
Well, I don't really know what that means. But one year.
I think it means what you said about the thinking you worked here as well.
1 year, we're by the practice green, and I thought C.J. Hurt set them up. C.J. had laughed about it for years, and I thought they set it up, and a nice lady came up, and she was nice, but she was forceful in that she was irritated about something and wanted somebody to correct it. And I said, ma'am, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
I don't work here.
And she grabbed my credentials. She says, well, you work here, don't you? No, I really don't.
It's not what this means.
No.
Oh man, well,
and CJ fell out, but I thought he had set me up.
Oh man, not a setup.
But today, ask if I was a doctor.
That's great. Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. Very busy show today. 3:30, our friend Pat Smith will join us from Jocks in Birmingham. It's been a minute since we caught up with Pat Smith.
3 media days.
Yeah, which is hard to believe. It's honestly hard to believe that we're already this close to the college football season from media days.
And I told you, and this is not my big number of the day, but today, 10 days from college football. I think of 10. I think Eli Manning, but also this one, Brian. It amazed you, and I told you earlier. I want the audience to hear it as well. In his 3 years at Ole Miss, Archie Manning played 10 home games in Oxford at Vaught Hemingway Stadium.
You already told me this. I still can't believe it. Hearing it the second
time. But remember, in those times, a lot of Jackson and a lot of Memphis for Ole Miss home games in Memphis. And, of course, requisite road games. But in 3 years, and freshmen were not eligible back then, he only played at Vaught Hemingway 10 times.
That's crazy. That's a great
This year, Ole Miss can play 8 games potentially at Vaught Hemingway. 7 regular season and a playoff game.
I'm really excited to hear your big number of the day then, because if that wasn't your big number, then I know your big number
got to be good.
Be really
That's a lot of pressure on me, Darren.
Well, it definitely is.
For a doctor,
Oh, exactly. Yes.
Doctor of what?
Dr. Norsworthy. How about that? So we'll talk to Pat at 3:30. 3:45, we'll talk the NFL. A lot of news coming out of the NFL. And we learned today, we talked a lot about J.J. McCarthy yesterday. It's now official. He will miss the entire 2024 season. So definitely, not the best news to hear about the young rookie. But we'll talk more about that at 3:45. 4 o'clock, John Gowen from Timber Trust Golf will join us. We'll talk some golf. We'll talk about this weekend here at Southwind, and we'll make our picks. But, Brett, I'll be honest, don't feel like I got a chance anymore. I've never –
What are you talking about? You do, Brian.
It doesn't feel like
winner,
it, Brett.
First pick winner gets double.
Okay.
If you pick with your second pick the winner, it's quad. That's $16 million. You'd be in first place.
Well, that's a good point. I didn't. You know what? I didn't
it's
think
not
about
over.
That.
Listen to the doctor. Listen to the doctor.
That's right. He knows best.
No cut. Down to 50 next week, no cut. And then Tour Championship, we're going to do like the Olympics.
Yeah.
3 million, 2 million, 1 million, million first, second, third.
All right, so we will we'll make some picks at 4 o'clock.
It's not over,
with John. It feels like it's over. I don't feel good
Jake
about the rest. Okay, thank you. That's 2 Jake Knapp calls in the first time. I'm going to find Jake Knapp,
but 19 after.
I'm going to find Jake Knapp this weekend, and
stuck with
I don't know if I thank him or not thank him for this year. After I went to the well multiple times, never paid off for me. But
he's won on tour this year.
He has, just not when I picked him, which is a shame. 4:30, we'll talk some baseball. A ton of baseball news out there, Brett. It was a really good night of ball last night. Cardinals lose again. But we got to talk about Jordan Walker. Gets called up, has not been in the lineup yet. I just saw a tweet
bring him up
earlier. Great question about how they're going to use him.
He needs
exactly. It makes zero sense to me. So we'll talk baseball at 4:30. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Doug Bell from PGA Tour Radio. He will be here at the table with us to talk the PGA Tour, talk about this weekend here in Memphis and what he expects to see. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Even though we're not at our studios, we are still always in our family leisure studios on the road where family and fun come together. That weather is getting a little nicer. It's starting to feel a little bit more like fall, so make sure you head out to Family Leisure. They've got great deals on everything you could possibly need for the fall season, so get it now before football season starts. Like Brett said, only 10 days away, so make sure maybe you got that patio out back where you go and watch those games on your television. Make sure you get it all set for the season, and Family Leisure will have you covered with that. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sports Time, produced by Darian Newsom. He's Brian, I'm Brett. We're with you until 6 o'clock. We want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. And all our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. Wherever we are, we're always in our Family Leisure studios, and wherever we are the first hour, always brought to you by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day has got to be that we're here. It's finally feels real. I mean, it was hard to believe a couple weeks ago when we were talking about only 2 weeks until we're out at Southwind for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. And then last week when we were talking about next week, we're going to be there. Even Monday when we were saying later this week, it was hard to believe, but now we're actually here. We're out here at the hub, and we're going to see the top 70 golfers in the world.
That's 3 days
tonight. It absolutely is. And so all of the fun really started today with the Pro-Ams. It's been cool. It's always cool to see. You know, you kind of forget about it, but seeing these pros out there with amateurs, just kind of hanging out,
being
talking,
real,
being real. You know, the vibes are good, Brett. As
Colin Morikawa playing with Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, I mean that was awesome. And then afterwards, our buddy Josh Crawford asking him about it. He said
Josh did.
He's actually really, really good. So
and he meant it.
He absolutely did.
He said, I play with a lot of people that claim a 2 handicap, and they're not.
Yeah, no,
Penny is.
He absolutely is. And so it's already been a fun day out here with the Pro-Am, but also tomorrow morning when everything really kicks off, it's going to be a ton of fun. We went through some of those groups that we'll see tomorrow and Friday, and pretty much any group you look at is can't miss. There's going to be something to watch with all of these groups. As we know, a ton of people are going to be following Scotty and Xander, and that's understandable for what they have done this season. But it's going to be a whole lot of fun, and I can't wait for the action to begin tomorrow morning and then through the weekend until we crown another champion Sunday afternoon.
My top story is the opening round starts tomorrow morning of the first leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs. This event has become big time, but in this landscape of professional golf, it must be supported by everybody here locally. Mm-hmm. Back in the spring, we were 8 out of 8 in NCAA tournament regional sites in attendance. The Redbirds are last in all of AAA. Nobody goes to 901 games. Tiger basketball averaged around 7,000 people. The Grizzlies' attendance, still great. Mm-hmm. So what will crowds look like the rest of this weekend? We know if you're going to keep something, it has to be supported. It can't just be always the power of FedEx. People are going to talk about it's hot in August. That's when the event is.
Yep.
I hope it is supported well.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, I don't really have much to add to this except for just what I saw, the report I saw earlier today. A lot of people have been talking about it all week, but the Jordan Childs incident or controversy, whatever you want to call it, from the Olympics, It was the Romanian girl that won it originally. They said she won bronze, but then after USA said, let's take another look at that, they said actually Jordan Childs is the winner. They gave her bronze, and then they went back and said actually USA was late in terms of trying to appeal the ruling. So now it will go back to the young lady from Romania.
Some Sweden court.
It's incredible. So
how is that?
I have no idea. Well, here's the
so they throw a dart at a globe and hit
crazy.
Sweden.
Here's the most recent development, Brett, that I saw this morning. So the United States appealed the ruling, and basically whoever they appealed it to, this governing body, said no, we're not going to take another look at it. We're taking her bronze medal away. It's going to go to the girl of Romania. Turns out, from Yahoo Sports earlier today, a report, panel chair that oversaw Jordan Childs' medal saga reportedly has ties to Romania. How about that?
You could feel that one coming, couldn't you?
Wow.
Really
so
could.
The saga continues.
My not top story, it's almost like Live doesn't exist when you're watching the PGA Tour on TV, but especially when you get out here on the ground at an event. I know for some, we sure missed some from that went to Live. We missed John Rahm. We missed Cameron Smith. But not many of them. And Phil was almost kind of at the end. Unbelievably, for the PGA Tour, we do miss some of the Live players, but it's made it through just fine. At major time, we're fine. At Ryder Cup and at President's Cup time, we're fine. And here at Memphis, we're able and capable of having a golf tournament without Taylor Gooch. Can we dare go forward this weekend without Taylor Gooch in our field?
MVP of Live, Brett. I don't know if we'll be able to make it without him.
Yeah, legend in his own mind.
You're absolutely right about that. Well, that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. We need to get to a break, but let me remind you, we're out here at the FedEx St. Jude Championship here in the Hub. Make sure you stop by, say hello, register to win. We're giving away tickets to Memphis versus Troy football here in a couple of weeks, so you can register for that and keep listening. We're going to be giving away tickets for round 1 tomorrow of the FedEx St. Jude Championship a little bit later in the show. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we're talking some college football with Pat Smith.
Online and owning it, between imagining living there and breathing in your new home for the first time. Having an advocate who can help you navigate the complex world of financing, inspections, negotiating, analyzing the market, and talking through any anxieties that may pop up, that can make all the difference. That's what the expertise of a Realtor can do for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and bound by a code of ethics, because that's who we are.
Blue Cross Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee is honored to stand alongside 1,600 dedicated volunteers to make this year's annual FedEx St. Jude Golf Tournament a resounding success. John Arth is the chairperson of volunteers taking care of other volunteers. John, the volunteers are a pivotal part of this tournament, and they are taken to the Hospitality Center. What specifically do you do?
We're the headquarters. Volunteers come to gather for food. We feed them breakfast and coffee. We also have other beverages there. I also coordinate, and we have food every day, which is free. We've set it up so they come through. My goal is to have them not stand out in the sun and feed them as fast as possible. We do turn over about 300 volunteers every hour. We feed about 1,000 to 1,400 of the 1,600 volunteers throughout the day. And it's a good place to come. Blue Cross Blue Shield sponsors the tent.
To read more about how Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee helps our communities, please visit bcbst.com.
Drive like a pro and support a great cause during the sales drive at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, and Landers Ford North in Covington. We've provided over 100 new Fords to be driven by the pros at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Now they're all being sold with demo prices. That's right. Over 100 new Fords driven by the pros are being sold with demo pricing below market value. A portion of the proceeds go directly to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. This is a once-a-year opportunity to trade up and drive like a pro while supporting a great cause. Visit LandersMemphis.com. That's LandersMemphis.com. Or come see us at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, or Landers Ford North in Covington. With our Landers Easy Pass, you can get top dollar for your trade-in to help you save even more. Don't miss your chance. Reserve your demo-priced new Ford driven by a pro at the FedEx St. Jude Championship and lock in low APR financing. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stott, Snoresworthy, and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you. We're out here at the FedEx St. Jude Championship at Southwind. We're in here at the hub. Make sure you come and stop by. We're giving away tickets to Memphis and Troy here in a couple of weeks. A big football game for the Tigers, so you can come and register to win that. But joining us now to talk some college football, Pat Smith from Jocks in Birmingham. He joins us now. Pat, thanks so much for joining us. How's it going? Hard to believe it's only 10 days from the college football season.
Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure, and I'm jealous because you guys are out at a golf course. So, yes, I am very pumped that football's right around the corner, but, yes, it is a great time of the year, no doubt.
And we got Doug Bell with us at 5 o'clock.
That's right.
Man, you're going heavy Birmingham today. I love it. I
really
love
are.
it.
Kind of Jocks light today, aren't we?
That's right.
Man, I love it. Please tell Doug. Doug is fantastic, as you guys know. You guys talk to Doug all the time, but man, it is really special when we're able to catch up with him when he's across the pond at the British Open. It's a lot of fun. Doug knows this stuff. He's a great golfer, too.
He sure is, and knows his college football and covered it for so long when he was in Birmingham. Pat, talking season is coming to an end. This is tough. What's been the best point you've made or you've heard anybody else make? What's the take of talking season to you? That's tough.
For us in Alabama, it's the second year of obviously Hugh Freeze because they've done so well on the recruiting trail. So there's a lot of optimism down on the plains. Meanwhile, Alabama fans, they're kind of breathing a sigh of relief because they are a preseason top 5 team in America. That's something that's been very used to under Nick Saban. But Kalen DeBoer has opened up practices. He's opened up more to the media. The players and the coordinators are more available. So, to me, it's kind of a double-edged sword there for both of those stories, Brett. Those are the two things that have really dominated our talking season in our neck of the woods is the optimism at Auburn and Alabama trying to keep that train rolling.
Yeah, you mentioned Auburn and that optimism. I was talking to one of my buddies the other day who's a big Auburn fan. He was telling me about how excited he is for this season and how excited he is with Hugh Freeze and what he's been doing recruiting-wise. What does this year look like for that Auburn team, especially because this was the question I asked him with Peyton Thorne at quarterback, because I'm still not sold on him as a starting quarterback.
He needs
in this
a big
conference.
step up.
Yes, he does need to step up. But here's the thing, guys. Now that Philip Montgomery has been sent off to mothballs as the offensive coordinator, one thing is for sure, Hugh Freeze is going to be more involved in what's going on with the offense. Peyton Thorne's not going to have to do a lot more than what he did last year. You know, I'll use a baseball terminology. Typically, you get to this time of the year, you say, look, we just want you to perform on the level of the back of your baseball card. Like, we just want you to be your average. Don't do any more. Just do your average on the back of your card. Well, that's the way they look at Peyton Thorne. Look, just put the numbers up you did at Michigan State. Now we've got some playmakers on the outside. We've got a good running back room. We've got a really good defense with DJ Durkin. They're really optimistic in which they can get the ball to the outside and let those really young, talented wide receivers do their thing. You know, from the scrimmage this weekend, it was all about the defense. DJ Durkin, he's got some dudes on that side of the ball. Defense is well ahead of the offense right now. And so DJ Durkin, having those type of athletes, a lot of rotations to the first and the second string guys, they're very optimistic that this could be one of the better defenses in the SEC.
Pat Smith with us talking college football from WJOX down in Birmingham. That's what they live, sleep, eat, breathe every day is college football. And he's on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Pat, when next week, will you and Landrum and Molly and Crew and Conrad, will y'all make a preseason bracket prediction? Or will you make or just the number of SEC teams prediction? Because you can almost do a whole show on the prediction stuff now.
There's no doubt about it. As a matter of fact, Brett, you know, we actually already did that. And, you know, I'm catching a lot of grief from your neck of the woods because, you know, I've got Ole Miss finishing number 2 in the SEC. I know you and I talked about it during SEC Media Days in regards to how we were going to vote. But as far as what we're concerned, you know, we took a look and all 4 of us came together. And, you know, we've got obviously Georgia being the number 1 seed in the new college football playoff. But then we've got Texas in there at number 6. We've got Ole Miss at number 7. And we got Alabama at number 8. So the SEC is very well represented in the 3-man front WJOX college football playoff prediction. You know, it should be a lot of fun in regards to what the SEC could do. And I wouldn't be surprised if there might be a 5th team from the SEC that potentially could sniff the playoff.
I'm going to have 5 in there. I'm going to have LSU in there. But I'm going to stay with Georgia 12-0. But I'm getting close to maybe backing off to 11-1. Bama winning there and then losing at LSU. And then that would leave, as we say out here at the golf tournament, a whole host of teams at 1 loss.
Listen, there's no doubt. A lot of people are predicting the winner of the Alabama-LSU game in Baton Rouge is probably going to be that's going to be the play-in game, so to speak, for the college football playoff as another representative. And I would not be shocked at all. Listen, Bama's schedule is a little bit more daunting than some people want to give it credit. I know they've got to go to Madison, Wisconsin, and play Luke Fickell and the Badgers. That's going to be an interesting game. Bama should win that one. But then you look at in-conference, playing the likes of Tennessee in Knoxville, going to LSU, you know, playing the Tigers there. And then you've got a really interesting game before the Iron Bowl because they got to go to Oklahoma. And last time they went to Oklahoma did not fare too well. Of course, that was back in the early 2000s. But one thing's for sure, this Alabama football team is going to have plenty of tests this year in Kalen DeBoer's year 1.
The playoffs really go through Baton Rouge. Ole Miss trip there October 12th. Bama's trip in November. The Tiger Stadium usually will decide a lot.
No, there's no doubt about it. And listen, we're going to see real quick, guys, how much these injuries that these teams have already experienced. I mean, obviously Texas has been decimated from the running back position. Now they've only got 3 scholarship running backs. Texas A&M, they got hit by the injury bug yesterday. Oklahoma at the wide receiver position today. Missouri's one of their top edge rushers who transferred from Georgia. He is out for the season. So, you know, us in this part of the world, we're just kind of holding our breath, making sure that Alabama and Auburn wraps their guys up in bubble wrap so we don't have any injuries to talk about.
When you look at this Missouri team this season, obviously last year they were kind of one of the stories of college football, certainly one of the stories of the SEC with the year that they had. But now you lose Cody Schrader, you bring back a lot of weapons offensively, but I've heard a lot of people questioning that defense for Missouri this year. What do you see that team as being this season in the SEC?
Well, one thing's for sure, I like the fact the way their schedule kind of sets up. Listen, they could come to Tuscaloosa undefeated, and this is a very good team offensively. But see, you just hit on it, Brian, in regards to what you're looking at from the defensive side of the ball. They lose their defensive coordinator to LSU. One of their top players they got out of the transfer portal that was supposed to be a difference maker on defense is out for the year, announced today. So all of a sudden, those questions that you had on the defense, that's just going to continue to be a weekly theme in Como. No doubt with Luther Burden, with obviously the quarterback play, these guys are going to be able to put up some points. But are they going to be able to have a defense that could put them in a conversation to potentially either go to Atlanta or maybe even play in the college football playoff?
Pat, if an SEC team produced a Heisman Trophy winner, who do you think it'll be?
Well, I think right now, Brett, I think you've got to look at the quarterbacks. Okay, I think you got to start in Athens. I think you start with Carson Beck. Then from there, you got to look at Quinn Ewers. Now that their running back situation in Austin is problematic, he's going to probably have to throw the football a little bit more than what probably Steve Sarkisian wanted to when they started laying out the game plan for this upcoming season. So Quinn Ewers could put up some big numbers. Listen, Jackson Dart is going to put up some great numbers as well in Oxford. Jalen Milroe is an individual. If he can make the right decisions and not turn the ball over, I think those four guys, Brett, could easily be in the conversation to potentially be in New York.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at Florida and Billy Napier, there was a lot of talk at the end of last season about his job stability and if he would be able to keep things rolling and keep his job down at Florida. Now you look at this year, they've got the toughest schedule in college football. What does he have to do, in your opinion, to keep his job and still be the head coach in 2020?
To me, the bar's going to be pretty high, and it's going to be pretty tough for him to do it. But I would have to say 6 or 7 wins. Of course, the Vegas win total, I think, has got him at, 4.5, 5, depending on what sports book you're looking at. And to be honest with you guys, when you look at their schedule, I don't even know how they can get to that number. I mean, look at their month of November. It is just a brutal schedule that's a hellscape for a Florida Gator fan in the month of November. We've had a couple of Florida fans actually call our show this week, and I know, Brett, you're not going to like this, but now they're talking about losing for Lane. That's kind of a little quiet little chant they're doing. You know, a couple of years ago it was tanking for Tua. Now it's losing for Lane because they hope
Here's my comeback to them. So was A&M, so was LSU, so was Auburn. Arkansas thought they had him before.
Pretty much every team has a head coach over.
He's starting year 5, and I mean, everybody had him staying about 5 days.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, he was rumored for Auburn, Alabama. I mean, he's been rumored for all these jobs. So, yeah, but
get ready for NFL talk after this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So it's going to be interesting to see. But, listen, I personally like Billy Napier. I covered him when he was assistant coach at Alabama. He was one of the top recruiters for Nick Saban when he was in T-Town, and just a first-class individual. I just think that he has gotten into a situation there, kind of a bit off a little bit more than he can chew, and I think if they do make a change there, I would not be surprised if Scott Strickland is also shown the door because, let's face it, these athletic directors are hired and fired based on the success on the gridiron, not what they do on the volleyball court.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely is. Well, it's going to be a fun couple of weeks, 10 days build up to the season. But, Pat, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll definitely have to do this again soon.
Absolutely, guys. Have fun out there.
Thank you, Pat, so much. Pat Smith with us from the Powerhouse, WJOX, Jocks in Birmingham. And Brian, breaking news here. One of these days, Lane Kiffin's going to leave Ole Miss.
Sure.
He's not.
100%.
He's not staying there forever.
No.
I don't think he's staying there 15, 20 years. One of these days he's going to leave.
Sure.
And you know what? Every one of those people told you, knew he was leaving. No, all y'all had, first of all, he was never coming.
Literally.
Second of all, he was leaving as soon as he got there.
Yes, exactly.
Now starting year 5. One of these days he will leave.
Sure. But, I mean, this game we've played these last couple of years of any Power 5 job, and I guess now Power 4 job that comes available, he's the first name out there. I mean, it's
and you
crazy.
know what's coming also with when he does leave, and I told you, now you're going back to being Ole Miss. That's what they can't wait for.
Oh, joy. I love that.
We're at the golf tournament. We appreciate all our great sponsors, and, of course, one One of them includes Sissy's Log Cabin. They're with us year-round. They're with us for all the big events. They were with us at SEC Media Days. They will be with us looking back at the weekend in the SEC at 4:30 on Mondays. They're with the Tigers. They're with the Grizzlies. They're with the community, official jeweler for the Memphis Grizzlies, and that FedEx Forum Floor Seat Lounge. That great location they have at 4542 Poplar. Bill Jones and his family, and it is a family operation. Wife, sons, everybody very involved. And they're here to stay. Some blow in overnight, then gone, not Sissy's Log Cabin. Part of the fabric of the community, the Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, wedding bands for that special moment in your life started at Sissy's Log Cabin. Some of these pros need to go over and look at that Rolex, just the Rolex department by itself, standalone, part of the 9,000-square-foot store in Laurelwood, with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more. Since 1970, it's what Sissy's Log Cabin, what they dreamed of, what they've accomplished. They offer a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and truly an extraordinary shopping experience, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, let's go ahead and get to another break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the NFL. That's next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Genesis Diamond's most extreme values on diamonds is coming to an end. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to get the price of a lifetime on a certified GIA-certified diamond ring. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and response has been incredible. People have driven for hours to buy like a dealer buys. All Genesis GIA-certified diamond rings are on sale. A full 20% discount off Genesis' already amazing everyday value price. I'm talking about values you never thought possible. From a half-carat to 20-carat diamonds, all hand-picked from maximum brands and all graded by the most prestigious gem lab in the world. Genesis has the largest GIA diamond selection you've ever seen. Rounds, ovals, radiants, cushion cuts, pear shapes, emerald cuts, princess cuts, everything you can think of. Now through Sunday, you can take advantage of this rare buying opportunity on the most gorgeous rings. Limit one per customer, please. Get the Genesis no middleman direct importer price, minus an extra 20% on all GIA diamond engagement rings. Now through Sunday, only at Genesis Diamonds on Poplar and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. We're out here at TPC Southwind at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Make sure you stop by. We're here at the Hub on 18. You can register.
Am I always this ball-headed?
Well,
man, that's
maybe.
Horrible.
Well,
most doctors are.
I think it's the lighting in here, Brett. It's the light that's coming in. I don't know what it is. Doctor. Maybe that's what.
Hey, really most doctors are, Brian. So you should feel good.
That's what I'm saying.
Feel better about that.
Played into
it, Brian. Most doctors are.
See my stethoscope?
no, thank you. Make sure you stop by there, register. We're giving away tickets to Memphis versus Troy football here in a couple of weeks. We want to thank our sponsors again real quick. Our title sponsor, Landers Ford. We're going to have scoreboard updates from our scoreboard sponsor, Sissy's Log Cabin, and also all of our other great sponsors like First National Bank, Jason's Deli, Wade Incorporated, your North Mississippi John Deere dealer, Ronnie Grazzani's, Town Village Audubon Park, Banyan Tree Realtors, Wilson's Power Wash, DeSoto Honda, Jim's Place, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, and Memphis Tourism and the Memphis Sports
what a great
Council. It's an unbelievable list, and we thank all of them.
Our sales departments, everybody pitched in, did such a great job for SEC and for here, and could not do it without them.
No, absolutely not. But Brett, we got to talk some NFL news. We talked at length yesterday about J.J. McCarthy, the injury, and I said to you, Brett, I was reading things after the injury, listening to things after the injury, watching things after the injury, or at least it was announced yesterday that he would have to have surgery. I heard everything from 4 weeks, 12 weeks, 6 weeks, 9 weeks. Now today we learn that it's going to be a whole year. It's definitely not what you want to hear.
Couldn't you?
Oh,
it's always more on the extreme end than the lighter end, and
always.
And now, a fully lost year for him. Mm-hmm. I was listening to Colin Cowherd some before we came on from out here, and he made a great point. Takes all the debate out of it.
Sure.
Sam Darnold, it's all yours, big boy.
Yeah, show us what you got. I mean, certainly the Vikings feel good about him. They signed him to a really nice deal this offseason, and so they feel confident in what he can do as a starter. So, yeah, I mean, let's see what he can do. This is your year, but, hey, probably after next year, it's going to be J.J. McCarthy's show, and it's going to be his team. And, I talked about it last year, and I think, if you want to take the glass half full approach to this, J.J. McCarthy, look, you got surgery today. You're now on that road to recovery, but now you've got a full year where you're going to be sitting there. You have to soak up everything, learn everything you can this year, and he will. That's why I say
get good and healthy.
There's a lot of guys that I'm confident in terms of learning the NFL game, learning what the NFL's about. J.J. McCarthy is one of those guys that I feel very confident he's going to be able to do that. And so maybe this year, learning all of that stuff and being ready year 2 to go in immediately and be that starting quarterback. Next year, I'm sure there won't be that question of who's the starter, who's the backup, who's going to start the season, when do we throw you in there. It's going to be his team, and that might not be the worst thing to happen to him.
As a doctor, I feared the worst.
Well, I mean, you're right. Your doctor specialty was right.
Don't these injuries always play out like that? And again, some of the more benign-looking missteps, kind of when they take that crow hop.
Oh, yeah.
That's when some damage has been done.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Some other injury news that we got earlier today. Jahmyr Gibbs, we talked about that a little bit yesterday. He's out with a hamstring injury, but according to that coaching staff, according to Dan Campbell, they're being very cautious about this injury, but the expectation right now is that he will be ready week 1, which is definitely huge news for the Lions, because I think originally a lot of people thought he would miss some time. Ravens tight end Mark Andrews was involved in a car accident this morning. He's been checked out at the team facility. He'll miss a couple of days, but nothing serious.
He's Lamar Jackson's best friend.
He absolutely is. So you definitely didn't want him missing any time. And then probably the biggest news of the day, injury-wise, Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison went down at practice with an injury after going up for a contested ball and is now being carted off after practice. They said that it did not seem like a serious injury. They weren't going about it like it was a serious injury right now, but it does look like he'll miss a little bit of time with that injury.
Yeah, it's always worse than we first expect. And Jordan Addison, he's had a very interesting offseason.
It's been a busy offseason for Jordan Addison, and so, there's been a couple of busy offseasons. Rashee Rice, another one that, you're really kind of saying, all right, let's get to the season so that we can maybe get away from all of this other stuff that has come along with the offseason. But, it's crazy, Brett. Tomorrow night we'll be watching more preseason football.
I'm ready.
I'm ready for it. I mean, all this talk about 10 days away from college football gets me excited to watch some football, but definitely when you talk about NFL, getting more preseason action tomorrow doesn't hurt.
We are excited about it, and we're excited about being out here all week. One of our great sponsors includes Jason's Deli, bringing more to the table. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli. For every meal, a variety of delicious choices for breakfast, for lunch, for all-day meals, and all the get-togethers that we're back to having as school approaches, and also as football and game watching and good times. If you want that catered event, let Jason's Deli take care of you with those low delivery fees. Contact your local deli for all the details. Vegetarian and gluten-sensitive options. Same-day and last-minute orders welcomed. That's when they excel. When you don't think you have your event right, that's when they step up, and they're feeding all the volunteers out here this week. They have it down. All the foods free from dyes, artificial trans fats, and flavors. It's good, and it's good for you. Professional setup includes delivery by their delivery drivers, all with licensed food handling permits. Trans fat-free food, all about choice. Regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli in a location near you, I guarantee it. Ridgeway Road over across from MUS, Poplar and Highland right by the U of M, down in Olive Branch, out in Cordova, and in every location, that great salad bar. It is featured with over 30 items to choose from for you to prepare it however you would like. Catering, again, anytime, anywhere, and complimentary free ice cream in all those locations. You can order off the menu, all the soups, all the breads, the salads, the cheeses, and those salads off the menu like the Mesa chicken salad, the Nutty Mix-Up salad, the chicken Caesar salad, also very good. Locations, again, on Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. And you can always check them out online at jasonsdeli.com.
Well, we need to wrap up this hour. When we come back, we're talking a lot of golf. John Goins here at the table with us. He won again last week.
Golf picks really gotten ugly this year. I'm sorry it took that turn.
I think they're over, but you keep telling me there's still a chance.
It's not over.
Quadruple, like Brian, quadruple.
Yeah, well, I don't feel good. I've lost all hope.
This is the best day for a big comeback, Brian.
I guess so. I'm not prepared. I'm not ready. I've given up.
All I bet.
Well, whatever. Let's get to a break. When we come back, we're talking golf with John Goin.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Vanguard is 100% client-owned, serving over 50 million investors every day. Whether you're planning for retirement, putting your kids through college, or saving up for your next adventure, Vanguard can help you set personalized investment goals. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Copyright 2024, the Vanguard Group, Inc., all rights reserved, Vanguard Marketing Corporation Distributor.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Cottonville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights, open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
We are Sports 56, WHBC Memphis, and WC538 Memphis, broadcasting stations. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A little bit busy up and down certain sections of Tullahoma, up and down Holmes as well, going outbound on Getwell. Right when you come off the interstate, that's starting to pick up even more. So is 240 East as you hop on to 385 Billmore's Parkway. Looks pretty good through there right now. Headed out towards Collierville on Billmore's Parkway outbound. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. We're out here at TPC Southwind for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. It's Pro-Am Day, and joining us now to talk some golf, we'll make some picks a little bit later in the segment, John Goen from Timber Trust Golf. John, I don't know how you keep doing it, but another win last week. I'm starting to get tired of it.
Everybody's giving me crap last week about how I'm behind in the winning. I'm not picking winners. That's all I get to hear about, not picking winners.
How many winners has he picked this season? Two. So I'm still the MVP. Well, we're the MVP. We're tied for MVP. You can win. I'm MVP. Or we're MVP. We gotta figure it out.
Right. Updated standings. John's now won for the year 3 times.
3 times.
Okay.
10 missed cuts. Bryant's won 4 times.
Hold on. Who threw the bagel up last week?
Wow,
Stats?
Wow. I mean, you're getting ugly early. This is rough.
Here we go.
2 minutes into
It's
the
been
segment.
the trend all year.
Sure
I hadn't heard congratulations yet for the win last week.
Well, by the way, I was going to bring this up because I will admit that I asked the question, but it was late enough in the day during the boondoggle when I threw out the quad that sobriety was definitely in question when that got thrown out. So, I mean, double versus quad.
Going for quad over the Wyndham.
Generally you might see a couple things here or there. I don't know. But
there's the availability for quad this week. Do you think it will be a back-of-the-pack player, or will it be one of the big boys?
I mean, you got to think it's going to probably be one of the bigger guys. I mean, I'm curious. I watched a little bit on 2 when I was out there with Pat Donahue, and I mean, greens look soft.
Yeah,
soft, very receptive. Like Am's hitting wedges into greens that don't go very far. Which that's not a knock on an Am. I'm not trying to knock the Ams, but I mean, yeah, just soft, which is I don't know, kind of odd. I guess I would have thought kind of going into this they would have been a little firmer. Oh, I mean, golf course looks great. The golf course looks spectacular.
Hard growing year, or easy growing year for you and for here. What do you think? I mean, here they can make it mean easy.
Let's put it this way: it's always easier here.
Yeah, budget
might be a budget issue.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm sure that we all face our challenges here and there. I know in talking with Nick on a couple of different occasions, just. I mean, you just get some inconsistencies and some growing patterns, and it took a while for us to kind of get to a point of warming up and, to where you could really grow grass. And that's why it's always nice that this event has moved so late in the calendar year because, as I said last week, I mean, we all have the opportunity to grow out of our blemishes come August and September. You whatever could have potentially happened in the wintertime, It's just being able to grow grass to get out of it. We don't have the luxury of Augusta National throwing a bunch of ryegrass to grow it in.
John, I know out here brings back a lot of fond memories for you in your career. You were the pro here. You were the general manager here. You spent a lot of hours at this golf course, at this event. We were talking before we came on. I can remember we were talking earlier about when we used to be behind the driving range doing this outdoors. This is the best place.
Yeah, the hub was up on the range tee.
Yeah, and this is the best place we've ever done it from. We can remember the days down in the cart barn, downstairs.
Yeah, down the media center downstairs.
Where that was the media room. You've seen the full evolution, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I was gone right before the WGC. So, I mean, I didn't really get to see that true kind of ramp up and escalation. I mean, I've witnessed it, sure. As you can tell, it's a lot more of a relaxing week for me. Sure. it's relaxing on
4:30.
Well, I pull in at 4:30, just another place.
Yeah,
but you know, I mean, there weren't many years where I was having a tequila old fashioned sitting here on the radio talking to you guys.
Yeah.
So you know, it's
allowed.
It's definitely a little bit more enjoyable right now.
Wow,
right?
Yeah, that's my weakness.
But yeah, I mean, look, so when I moved here, 2003, we were I think late June event. I think I got here 6 weeks before that event and became the head pro.
Then we got to Memorial Weekend.
So and then we renovated in 2004. And kind of went through all that. So it's
and before you ever knew me, you did me a great favor. I'm out here with my oldest nephew Tom one year, and you got a signed ball from Scott Simpson, former U.S. Open winner. And I didn't even know you that well, and you gave it to me to give to Tom.
There you go. Well, yeah. I mean, look,
nice guy, John.
Yeah, don't let that get out.
Turned into blood and guts, John, over these golf pits.
Very ugly.
Look, my wife will tell you I'm extremely competitive.
That happens.
We turned a good guy bad, didn't we?
I mean, it happens to the best.
But I mean, clearly this has blown up. With the World Golf Championship event. I mean, back from the dreaded days of the Stanford St. Jude Championship and everything there, and then. The couple of years where it was just St. Jude Classic, and you had folks stepping into that role. I mean, obviously Smith and Nephew did, and you had Thomas and Betts just across the way that was also kind of willing to step in and help out. And
Sailor South now, C-Spire stepped up.
Yep, and so so it was. It's definitely kind of gone through its ebbs and its flows, and fortunately when you have a great sponsor like FedEx. And fortunately, they kind of finally, I think, put some pressure on the tour to say, look, this is what needs to happen. When we're investing in your product as much as we are, you need to reciprocate here a little bit. And, clearly, like I said, it started with the WGC, and now it's gravitated. I'm curious into the playoffs. I'm curious, we were 70 players for the WGC. We were 156 last year. First year back to 70. I know that there were a lot of, mainly spectator complaints about just 70, not enough golf, kind of condensed window, things along those lines. So I'm curious to see now what the response is now that we're going back to that as to whether it's a little bit more accepting, especially now that you've got, such a good condensed field, or whether you'll potentially have, some similar comments that you've had, when the WGC first started.
Yeah. I wasn't here earlier when Scotty talked to the media, but he had some thoughts on the way the playoffs are set up on the PGA Tour, and he kind of said how
he said they're silly.
Yeah, he did say it was silly. How it's put out as this year-long competition, but then you get to the end of the playoffs, and it really just matters with that final tournament at East Lake. What do you think of the way the PGA Tour sets up their playoffs?
Let's face it, I think as soon as the FedEx Cup started, as well as the Schwab Cup, realistically, at the end of the day, I mean, they've always been searching.
Yeah.
And so I think, they continue to try to figure out a way to tweak it. I mean, again, we talked about it. I mean, last year you're 156, this year you're 70 and 50 and 30. Clearly, this is much more of a response with regard to the live piece and making sure that they've got events that are worth a substantial amount of money to these guys to justify some of these things that they're doing. But, I mean, the playoffs have always been, a bit of a question mark as to how you get there. Yeah. I still argue to this day that the top 30 should be here. Why would you not give the FedEx Cup away on the 18th green at TPC Southwind with FedEx at World HQ in the background?
Yeah.
I mean, again, they're your biggest sponsor at the end of the day. I don't know why you don't figure that out. I get that Atlanta's a big market. Sure. I get that East Lake is East Lake. I get that, Coca-Cola's involved and whatever else. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that it should be here.
Coca-Cola.
I was about to say,
right.
Is it Coca-Cola, though? You got a Pepsi over here, Brad.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all about agreements here, fellas. It's all about agreements. I know for the longest time, the tour was always a Coke place, and then since I've been gone, obviously now we've turned into a Pepsi place. But
Brad never drinks Pepsi.
But at East Lake, you won't find a Pepsi.
You're not going to find a Pepsi. Well, heck, in most places. I mean, I know we've had this conversation with regards to the Tennessee PGA section. Like, you go to Chattanooga, and you're not finding a Pepsi anywhere. Like, Pepsi's giving us money in sponsorship dollars and whatever else to, do these things. Yeah. And you're showing up to places like, Chattanooga Golf and Country Club, or you're showing up to Council Fire, places like that, and there's, Coke. We don't serve Pepsi here. We don't care what it is, what agreement you've signed with. We are a Coke facility, and that's all you're going to find here.
It definitely is bold. Talking about Scotty Scheffler, it feels like this year, obviously an unbelievable year for him, but you saw, beginning of the year, the question was always before this year, his putting. And then at the beginning of the year, he's making putts. We kind of go through a spurt where he's not. We see during the Olympics, he makes pretty much every putt on Sunday to win the gold medal. What do you think we see here this weekend?
Well, I mean, wasn't putting well, switched putters.
Yeah.
Went to that spider. Mm-hmm. Really started putting better. Yeah. And then kind of has had a couple of challenges here and there with that. I mean, look, are we talking if Scotty doesn't stage the comeback that he does, if John Rahm doesn't really kind of fold on the back nine, I mean, is this really a conversation at the end of the day? I don't think it is.
Right.
And, again, listening to the broadcast on Monday when y'all were talking about it, gold medal, no gold medal, Scotty Scheffler's the player of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't see how you question that.
No,
I mean, Xander Schauffele picked a bad year to win 2 majors.
Literally, yeah.
When Scotty has been as down, and I think
almost Patrick Harrington, when he got hot those years,
right?
We kind of
he went back to back 1 year, right? A PGA and then the Open Championship. Yeah. So, Scotty's by far and away the best player in the world right now, the best player on tour, and your player of the year. I don't care if Xander wins here this week and he wins next week and he wins the Cup. I mean, it's a good 3-run stretch. He's going to win a ton of money.
Sure.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he would have 3 wins in a row. Mm-hmm. I have 3 wins on the year and won the most amount of money to this point. So, I mean, it's kind of, ties in together quite a bit.
How do we have peace in our time with Liv and the Tour?
You got to have adults get in a room and get away from it. I mean, yeah, you've got to have guys that are willing to have concessions on both sides, be able to get into a room and figure it out. And I don't see that there's any light at the end of the tunnel here right now. I mean, I'm not hearing anything. Right. I don't hear that there's meetings scheduled. I don't hear anything along those lines. So, unfortunately, I think you're going to have to continue to kind of go down this path of where we're at. And unfortunately, right now, I think the live guys are perfectly content to live, no pun intended, with their decision and the schedule in which they have created for themselves. I mean, I was listening yesterday to an interview on the Golf Channel about, if you win one of these elevated events, or if you win, a FedEx Cup event, or you win this or win that, you've got all the freedom in the world to set your schedule. Well, that's all those guys are wanting to do. Mm-hmm. That's all those guys are wanting to do, and now they have the freedom to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, these guys out here are talking about how they've got to figure out a way to make that happen. I mean, so, like I said, until realistically, I think, Tiger and Rory and, I don't know who it's going to be on the live side. I mean, clearly it can't be It's not going to be Greg Norman by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, is it going to take like a Bryson DeChambeau, who basically now is viewed as probably clearly their best player, somebody like that, to get into the room and just iron it out? And, because clearly these guys still want to allege that they're buddy-buddy, right. So they should be able to, with nobody else around, get in there and hammer through some things and kind of figure it out.
The big three we really miss: Rom, BDC, and Koepka.
Cam Smith, probably.
That's a good one. I kind of forgot about Cam Smith since he left.
Yeah, I mean, Cam Smith won a major and then went to live.
Abraham Answer won here in 21.
Sure right.
Did.
Joaquin,
heard from him since.
I mean, Joaquin Neiman, is not. I mean, he's not probably anybody that you miss, but at the end of the day, I mean, he's clearly gotten into some events based off of his performance on live. So, I mean, there's that side of the equation too.
Future of the PGA Tour, player-wise, play-wise, it is bright though, isn't it? It's some young sticks out there, isn't it?
Oh, sure. I think the biggest challenge for them is really going to be, I mean, as well as we talk about with the schedule is, in these non-sanctioned events, these higher dollar events, when, that's when they're going to have to figure out a way to be able to make their money to, kind of keep going and then figure out how they can maybe make top 70 to be in the playoffs and then kind of elevate themselves from there. Yeah. Is the future bright? Sure. I mean, you got guys like Maverick McNeely and others who have had good, a good year this year.
Yeah. Maverick McNeely and others.
I mean, he's here. I mean,
Darian, clip that, please, for the podcast.
Gotcha.
Right. Please.
Let's not forget about him. I mean.
But yeah, look, I think, it's going to be very, very interesting to kind of see where things go. I mean, clearly the Korn Ferry Tour is going to be the feeder piece.
And the scores on that. You got to shoot 25 under to dream of winning.
Oh, I mean, it's
a year's worth of birdies in one week.
It's the PGA West and out in the valley there.
It is.
Every week.
Yeah,
every week. You might at Palm Springs event every single
16
week.
16 under gets you nothing.
Right. You better be pushing close to 30.
Yeah.
To have a prayer.
Yeah.
These guys are that good. Who's a young player that's here this week that you think next year needs to win a little more? A guy like maybe Peter Malnati or Wyndham Clark that won the U.S. Open. Does he need to win a little more next year?
Well, I mean, Malnati, he's won a couple of times now. Uh-huh. He's from Knoxville.
Tony Finau.
Wyndham Clark has probably had the most disappointing year, especially coming off of his U.S. Open win last year. To not really be, or to my recollection, be in contention for something to this year is a bit odd. I mean, Finau had an unbelievable stretch last year. Does he really need to win more next year? Potentially. I mean, I think for Tony, it's more along the lines of how am I in contention in the majors more. I think that's got to be his next step. Let's face it, Justin Thomas, he's not a young guy, but Justin Thomas needs to continue to figure out a way to kind of keep turning a corner to be back as one of the best players in the world, because clearly he's had his challenges over the last year and a half to 2 years.
Could Victor Hovland be in that group? We were kind of talking yesterday about maybe a disappointing season.
Again, just one. I mean, it's one bad year. I mean, again, Victor Hovland won the FedEx Cup last year. I think you take your $15 million and you go take a year off, for crying out loud. You got your exemptions for a while. There's not a lot of pressure on you. So, you can come into town and see Chris Smith if you need to out at Spring Creek Ranch and, work on your game a little bit and enjoy life.
Yeah, why not? Sounds like a good life to me.
Who is the most dynamic player in our field this week? Appointment viewing. You got to go watch this guy play.
Well, I mean, outside of the obvious ones?
No, number one. Who would be the one?
I mean, how do you not want to go watch Scotty Scheffler?
Yeah.
I mean, just to watch how precise he is.
Has Rory been forgotten?
I don't think Rory's been forgotten. Okay. Here's the real question. The real question would be, if this was a cut event, would Rory make the cut this week based off of where he's been? Granted, had a good Olympics, had a little rally in the Olympics.
Came up short.
Kind of, continuing to have some scar tissue with old Rory. But, Rory, are people going to watch Rory? Absolutely. I mean, let's face it. I still remember the nights where Rory and his dad and his entourage would hang out on the back patio at the clubhouse, and members hanging out right there next to him, and they would eat dinner out there and everything else. I mean, Rory has always been good to this event, so I think very similar to a Phil Mickelson when Phil was coming. I mean, people will still watch Rory, without a doubt. I mean, Xander Schauffele, I think clearly is going to be somebody that people are going to want to watch, based off of how he's performed.
Phil was great
recently.
Here, wasn't he?
Phil was spectacular. Kept
everybody in sight.
I have no understanding of any of that, although I think I'm pretty sure I've told that story on the air. So, just Phil was so good, and I mean, just think about the near misses he had winning this. I mean, he almost hold out on 18 the one year to potentially go into a playoff and things along those lines. So there's another one that you don't really talk about it much, but there's a guy that you miss being out here is Mickelson.
Sure. Yeah, and he was
from
good.
Live.
He was good to this tournament. All right, it's pick time. Darian,
right.
You're
There
up
you go.
first, and Darian, for the year, you're trailing badly, but you could pull ahead with a big weekend here.
All right, I won't not do the obvious again. I'm going Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah,
that was real.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Great
Even
pick.
though I got him, he won't win. Y'all watch.
Yeah, I mean, this is tough.
Well, this is the least confident bunch I've ever been around.
I mean, I have no confidence at all.
Just been snake bitten, Dr. Stats. That's all.
Honestly, it absolutely has been. I've got a couple of darts in my pocket that I like to go to, the old well, as you would put it. I'll go with my guy Ludwig, see what he can do this week.
Ludwig Aubert looking for his first win. Very good. That leaves me with Xander Schauffele.
Yeah. I hate that spot, that second pick, and with those top two guys, I mean, it's just, I don't like being there.
John?
I've trashed him, but I guess I got to take him. I'll venture out there with Rory.
Oh, wow.
Look at you.
Okay.
And that's how big Rory McIlroy is. We know him as one name, just Rory. And he's that. Darian, your second pick, and this would pay quad if you won. That's around $16 million. You'd be in first place next week.
Oh, and hopefully he did it. Tied for 6th last year. I'm going with Corey Connors.
Okay.
Corey Connors. Oh, Canada. Right.
So when I got here today, I told myself as I approached 18, whatever the first golfer I saw playing in the Pro-Am, that's who I was going to take.
Lord.
Max Homa was the guy, so I'll take Max Homa.
I'm not believing the picks I've been left with. I get Xander Schauffele, and the person I was going to take with my first pick, Colin Morikawa. How's he not won this year?
You can have him.
John?
This is the week for me. I feel it.
Well, guys, kind of like last week, I really haven't done a lot of research on this whole event, and
it just makes it feel a lot better, doesn't it, Brian?
Yeah.
I think I'll give Sahith Theegala a chance here and see if we pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Southland Casino's got a booth over here. They're not accepting bets here, but they are at West Memphis people. Head to Left Memphis and bet Sahith Theegala with how John's picked this year.
It's incredible.
John, you got your boondoggle hat on. I know y'all had a blast.
We did.
Looking hat.
Thank you.
Tell us all about the weekend.
Oh man, I tell you what, it was a heck of a weekend. We had an absolute blast.
Was it apt to the name of the tournament?
Oh, it definitely was boondoggle. We had a good time. The guys,
the weather break of all time.
Yeah. I'm telling you, these guys would. You're talking about this being last week. Next year, they're hoping for the same weather that they had last week. Next year. What an incredible event! What a great time we all had, and there's not an explanation for it other than it was a boondoggle. I mean, I had to call one of our beer distributors today and go, so we're completely out of everything.
Love that.
Clearly, we might have had some excessive celebration last week, so. But, had a great time Saturday. The guys at Two Crazy Fellas did a spectacular job with the food, both Saturday and Sunday. The jambalaya from there was amazing. But had a great shootout, 7 teams in the shootout. good overall winner. We look forward to obviously next year. Few things kind of left. We're actually skipping the two-man this week. We've got a tournament tomorrow, and then we've got the big Memphis Palm event, or Spirit Squad event on Friday. So we'll get back to the two-man scramble the following week. Just a couple of events really to kind of wrap up our tournament schedule. One the end of September, and then our Timber Cup matches are in October. So plenty of time if you still want to be able to participate in that. Obviously, the weekend's going to be pretty good. They're supposed to get a little bit of a break after Friday from a temperature perspective, so should have some decent weather to be able to get out and play golf. Things are going to start a little bit later here with it being such a limited field. So you can maybe squeeze down, get out early, and then come on out and watch some golf here. Yeah. So visit us, timbertrustgolf.com, to be able to book your tee times. Call 662-895-3530. If you want to watch the recap video or anything from a social media perspective, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Timber Trust Golf Course.
John, next week, the following week, and a big wrap-up, 4:30 okay, as we get into football?
4:30 should be fine. Probably is even a little bit better for me. Okay. So, yeah, gives me an extra few minutes to be able to be on a mower or a sprayer or something along those lines.
Thank you, John.
Day at the chiropractor. I mean, any of that stuff. So,
thanks,
guys,
John.
Thanks so much. Great seeing y'all. Good luck to everybody this week. Place looks great and should be a really good event.
You got it. Thanks, John.
John Goen joining us from Timber Trust, talk some golf and make some picks.
John with us all year, and he's got the big lead, and it's been a blast. And we'll visit next Wednesday, and the Wednesday of the Tour Championship, and then a big wrap-up after the Tour Championship as we get into football season. No matter what new Chevy or pre-owned car you're looking for, head down John's Way. Head to Olive Branch to All-Star Chevrolet. They have what you're looking for on the lot or in the showroom. First exit as you cross into Mississippi on Highway 72. That's Kraft Goodman Road. Together, let's drive what we really want to drive. Pick out 2 or 3 or 4 to test drive, and you can. If you can't find it at All-Star, you can't find it anywhere. All the Silverados, 20 to 30 Silverados, marked down as much as 12% to save you thousands. Every Tahoe you could want for road trips and tailgating, they have it. Law enforcement, military, college students, college grads, healthcare workers, first responders, teachers get an extra $500 bonus instantly. All the pre-owned Ram trucks and Silverados, a Bronco, a 4Runner, a Hyundai Palisade, an Audi, a sweet Corvette Stingray, all right there at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Contact Drew or any of the great team down there, and they'll help you out. Best week to get the most money on any vehicle you want to sell. Bring it to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch, and you get your check, and you get it today. Don't miss All-Star Chevy's end of summer sale going on right now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, and go to allstarautogroup.com for more information.
Well, let's get to another break. When we come back, we'll talk some baseball.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Family Leisure is having the world's biggest spa set. It's happening right now. You can save thousands on in-stock hot tubs that are ready to be delivered. Family Leisure has spas that start at just $28.99. You know those cold plunges? You can get one for yourself starting at $39.99. Or how about swim spas? They start at $17,499. Plus, Family Leisure has set up special financing just for this event. Have you been sitting on the fence about an above-ground pool? Get off that fence and get to Family Leisure to take advantage of huge discounts on all their in-stock above-ground pools. And if you need some patio furniture, it's all priced to move out now. It's not too late to have some summer fun, courtesy of Family Leisure. But you better hurry up. The world's biggest spa sale might go on forever. Family Leisure. Whitten Road at I-40. Family and fun come together.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value for your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Not all policies will qualify. Not available in all states.
Memphis, the playoffs are back. Come see the PGA Tour's best compete for the trophy at the FedEx St. Jude Championship, August 14th through 18th. Witness the drama as 70 players arrive in Memphis and only 50 move on. Tickets are on sale now at FedExChampionship.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett here live at the Hub at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. The Pro-Am is wrapping up, and next thing we know, we'll have golfers out there tomorrow morning getting all of the action in to start this great weekend of golf. And great opportunity now. If you want to get out here tomorrow, we're going to give away a pair of tickets right now for tomorrow, round one of the FedEx St. Jude Championship. We'll do second caller into the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line. That's 901-360-8255. Again, 901-360-8255. If you want a pair of tickets for round one tomorrow out here at Southwind, give Darian a call right now. He'll get all your information, and we'll get that sent over to you. But, Brett, we got to talk some baseball. It was a busy night last night for Major League Baseball. Got to start off with the Cardinals, though, because another loss. I rocked my hat today just to almost say goodbye to the Cardinals in the year that they've had. It's been a rough year, Brett, and I saw this earlier because I've been wondering. I guess it was, what was it, earlier this week or late into last week when I guess it was earlier this week, Monday, when they called up Jordan Walker and didn't play Monday, wasn't in the lineup yesterday, so a lot of people thought maybe today, Wednesday.
It's getting good and rusty.
Yeah, exactly. So he's not in the lineup again today against the Reds, and last night, I mean, another loss for them. Hunter Green was awesome. 7 innings. He's now 4-1 with a 1.07 ERA since June 30th. That is incredible. So I saw earlier today, in terms of Jordan Walker, Derek Gould, who covers the team up in St. Louis, this is what he tweeted about an hour ago. The St. Louis Cardinals are positioning Jordan Walker as a platoon player versus lefties. He's not in the lineup again today, which would have meant a lot of playing time a few weeks ago. But as of right now, the Cardinals face right-handed starters in 6 of the next 7 games. I just don't understand what they're doing with Jordan Walker, because it feels like if you're going to call a prospect up, especially one that we know struggles at the plate, struggles with that swing, it feels like, Brett, struggles with confidence at the plate, why would you call him up and then not get him any swings when you could just leave him here in Memphis and let him get all of those swings and try to get that swing right?
The ultimate everyday timing tempo sport.
Yes.
I don't know how his situation could have been more mishandled. And I'm sad to say I'm afraid he's just not that good, for one thing.
Yeah.
And then the whole chaotic world that he's now existed in, from Savior on opening day last year, and me joking, saying he's only 703 home runs behind Albert Pujols, but to well on the way to being pure D bust.
Yeah, and you know, you mentioned it right there. The front office is not doing him any favors. I mean, it's one thing to, you know, have last year happen and send him back down, do that song and dance again this year, and send him down and just say, hey, man, look, you're a young guy. You got to work on your swing. You got to get that right before we can rely on you in this lineup. But do that. Leave him in Memphis until you have confidence in him that he can come up here and be productive. And even if you don't have that confidence, you got to have him in there. Brett, we've been talking about this season. Feels like it's over. They're moving in the wrong direction. Nothing is clicking right now. They can't find ways to win games. What's the worst thing that happens if you put Jordan Walker in the lineup and just try to mix it up, try to see what happens? Maybe he comes in and looks good at the plate. Maybe he gets that confidence. Oh, back in the majors, back with the Cardinals, back with the bigs. You know, you get that confidence and you start connecting on hits. And we know we've seen it plenty of times this year with young guys. They step in, maybe they're a little unknown. They get that first hit, and then it's a roll from there, and you see these long hit streaks. You see what the rookie in San Francisco is doing with all the home runs and this hit streak he's on and this spark that he's given them. There's no point in calling him up if he's just going to ride the bench.
In the new, really chic-y hot thing, in the vibe world, the Cardinals have none.
Yeah.
Cardinals vibe is just flatter than the Mojave.
I mean, it really is. I don't think it could get much flatter, Brett. It just it really, really feels like this team's moving in the wrong direction. They play tonight, 5:30. Gibson's on the mound for the Cardinals. It's going to be a bullpen day for the Reds, but I still don't have much confidence in them, and you know, I don't feel good. Like, I'm not. Most days I'm like, all right, I get to go watch the Cards after. I don't have that feeling anymore.
No, it's gotten to that point. I think they will end up in next to last or last place in the division. The Pirates are on the real struggle bus and getting blasted already.
Well, and the Cardinals are making the Reds look good this week. I mean, good Lord.
Cardinals have made the Reds look good, and the Cubs, you know, they really started this tough patch for the Cardinals with that road trip to Wrigley Field. A afternoon final, Royals 4-1 over the Twins. Both of those teams are going to be teams that come October, a lot of America won't know who they are, but they're good teams. I mentioned Pirates being blasted right now, 8-zip, bottom of the fifth. Padres, they're playing well. They're another team. They got some familiar names.
For sure.
And the Diamondbacks on a really good roll. They lead top of the sixth at home against the Rockies, and Arizona's going nowhere.
Yeah, no, it just, you know, they're, like you mentioned, those two games, Padres, Diamondbacks, both those teams playing really well. Diamondbacks maybe turning a corner. Another team that I'm excited to watch tonight, Brett, that's been playing, extremely well right now, the Astros. They got a 3-2 victory last night over the Rays. That's 7 straight for them. I saw this earlier today. Yordan Alvarez broke the scoreboard with a batting practice home run last night, so that was a little bit of fun. You know, so he's looking good. Alex Bregman's homered in 4 straight games. This team looks really locked in.
And they got players that have been in that, from this point to playoff battle.
And that was always the question, Brett, of, you know, coaching change. You move on from this legend of a coach, and what would this team look like? And we saw early in the season they kind of had those struggles. They looked like a team with a new manager and trying to get that familiarity. And now, you know, it looks like they're locked in, and, you know, they've got a final game tonight against the Rays. I think you feel pretty good about that. And then this weekend they get the White Sox, you know. So, you know, we could be talking starting next week of a team that's won 10 or 11 games in a row, which is it's hard to believe.
White Sox losing streak ended quickly.
It
stopped at 1.
Stopped at 1. But hey, you know,
had a lot of base runners on.
Sure
tonight,
did,
though.
Sure did. And that, you know, last night was kind of death by Juan Soto.
Death by Juan Soto, yes.
I mean, that was crazy. 3 home run game for Juan Soto. I saw the first one, and I was like, all right, you know, that's a good start for the Yankees. And then I flip around, I come back, and I see them showing a Juan Soto home run, and I go, oh, they're showing the replay of his last home run. Nope, another home run, and then later in the game hits his third. So, you know, that Yankees team we're certainly
longer the
mad
Yankees
about
take, that
what
price
happened the day
goes
before.
up and up, Brian. The longer
exactly.
they take.
Oh, absolutely.
The Braves all of a sudden too clear in the loss column over the Mets and all those injuries, but really fighting.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We talked about it. Was it last week or the week before about these teams that were in the wild card, and I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the Braves stuck around, and it had nothing to do with all of the injuries because I see all of the injuries. I know how it is. But, baseball's a little bit different of a game than basketball and what we saw here with the Grizzlies. And, one thing I knew about this Braves team is they were going to go out there every night and fight, Brett, and we're seeing that right now. I still, would be a little surprised if they ended up getting in the wild card just because all of these injuries stacking up and the way they've been playing. But you're absolutely right, Brett. They've been fighting, and I feel like you feel good every single night when you watch them play that whoever they're playing, they're going to give them a run for their money.
And right now you just compare those organizations. You compare Atlanta, well, to most people they stack up well. But Atlanta to the Cardinals right now, whether it's front office, field manager, hitting coach, pitching coach, everything, the Braves are just positioned so much stronger.
Yeah, no, they definitely are. I mean, from top to bottom, and it's always that saying in the offseason. Johnny Radio does it every single offseason of I don't care who it is, but if AA puts his stamp of approval on it, whether it's a trade or of an offseason acquisition, you feel good about it because it's probably going to pan out and work out. I remember this offseason was
there's no Moselli magic anymore.
No, that's long gone. I mean, that is and partially it's been on him. It's been kind of the lack of moves he's made. It's been the lack of bringing guys in.
And he's hamstrung by dollars.
Sure, yes, absolutely.
They're not going to spend.
No, they're not. But, you can definitely see that. When you look at this city of Memphis, it's a lot of Cardinals fans. It's a lot of Braves fans. And, I would say right now the Braves, in terms of top to bottom, is definitely a better team right now.
Not even close.
Yeah, not even close. Last thing I want to get to with Major League Baseball before we get to a break. Did you see what the Tigers did to the Mariners last night?
Got 15 on them. You in the 15-run pool?
No, I'm not. I turned that one off early. I mean, that was ugly.
They were hitting everything.
Sure were.
They couldn't miss their bats.
It was a team that was really hot last night against a team that, quite frankly, struggles to hit the ball most nights in the Seattle Mariners, and we saw that again last night. And when you're a team that for most of the season has struggled at the plate, and you go up against a guy like Trick Skubal, you're probably going to struggle that night. And we saw them do that last night. Skubal looked really good again last night. Gave up the one earned run on 3 hits and a walk. He struck out 9. This year, he has moved to 14-4 with a 2.53 ERA. No doubt, Cy Young winner. Unless I don't know what would have to happen for him to, in my book, miss out on that award. But he has been absolutely lights out this year.
Are you catching us right now on the video?
No.
Do you see us?
Oh my gosh! Yes,
the sun position.
The sun is.
Are we in there?
You're just like a silhouette right now.
But hey, the lady was already over your shoulder taking pictures, so you're famous already. We saw that.
There we go. How about that?
Okay.
I love that. That's great. No, so Sun is definitely starting to go move towards the setting position here at TPC South. And we've been telling you all day about our great sponsors that are with us all weekend long. And let me remind you about one of them. It's Ronnie Grizzani's. It's the first name in Memphis Italian food. Get over there for lunch and get one of the Italian favorites with a crisp, cold Miss Mary salad, a lobster tower, the fried green tomatoes, the crab stack. Get it Monday through Saturday for lunch. And Ronnie Grizzani's, they also offer catering. So check out the lunch catering guide at ronniegrizzani's.com and get the Elfo special, a salad, Italian bread, $14 a person. Ronnie Grizzani's, they'll bring it to you. 901-850-0191. Give them a call again. That's 901-850-0191. Pick up a pan of lasagna at Ronnie Grizzani's at Regalia, or check out the bulk menu at ronniegrizzani's.com. Get your favorites at home like the chicken Alfredo, ravioli, Italian spinach, curbside or delivery to your door free within 4 miles of regalia. And don't forget about the bar. Stay cool with their cocktail list and get a steak like the 8-ounce gorgonzola and bacon-wrapped filet. Try it and thank me later. It's also available in High Point Grocery, Super Low on Spotswood and Goodman Road, and Buster's Liquors. Make lunch or dinner easy at Ronnie Grazzani's, a Memphis tradition since 1909. Well, let's get to another break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Everyone loves home improvement. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51 makes it easy. A real hardware store run by 3 generations of a real hardware family where you can get it all. Whether it's repairs, remodeling, or new building, kitchens, bathrooms, tiles, tubs, vanities, sinks, mirrors, lighting, furniture, even door hardware. All the latest designs as well as timeless classics. And if outdoor fun is on your mind, they have the Big Green Egg and Accessories. South Haven Supply at Warehouse 51, 8560 Highway 51. Easy home improvement.
Genesis Diamonds' most extreme value on diamonds is coming to an end. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to get the price of a lifetime on a certified GIA diamond ring.
This month has been incredible. People have driven 4 hours to buy like a dealer buys. All GIA certified diamond rings are on sale. A full 20% discount off Genesis' amazing everyday value price.
Talking values you know without loss of 25 to 20-carat diamonds. Maximum values on all available items. Prestigious geometric.
Don't be surprised to see Genesis 4 hours of diamond dealers shopping alongside you.
Genesis has the largest GIA diamond selection you've ever seen. Cuts, pear-shaped, emerald cuts,
Jenkins Floors and More invite you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, I mentioned in our last segment the blowout win by the Detroit Tigers over the Seattle Mariners last night. 15-1 win for them. Another really impressive start for Trick Skubal. Another disappointing loss for the Mariners. Maybe not the fact that they lost, because Trick Skubal, if you're facing him, most times you're gonna lose that game. But the way that it came in a 14-run deficit. So my big number is the number 7. Tigers catcher Jake Rogers last night recorded 7 RBI in that game against the Seattle Mariners. He became the first Detroit Tiger in 17 years to have a 7 RBI game.
Cabrera?
I don't know who it was, but I just know he's the first in 17 years. I should have looked it up. I should have done my job better, but I did not. Sounds about right.
Tigers won the World Series in 06.
Wow.
He gave it to the Cardinals.
That's right.
It was a good Tiger team. That was a blowout last night. A.J. Hinch has done a good job. My big number is 7:20, as in 7:20 a.m. tomorrow morning on the first tee. Justin Rose, gold medal winner in the 2016 Rio Olympics, and he's also a 2013 U.S. Open winner at Marion. He'll be on the first tee with Ben Griffin. Rose 0 wins this year, but career earnings of $65 million. Ben Griffin, 0 career wins, and this year but this year and in career earnings, $6 million. So 65-6 on the first tee tomorrow.
Yeah.
But Justin Rose has been there, and then later in the day on that same first tee, everybody going out of the one spot. I think that's when you have a real tournament. Is when everybody goes out of the one spot. That also will be where Scotty Scheffler and Xander Schauffele kick off their day at 12. Help me there, 12:35.
12. Well, got to go to the back of the sheet. 12:45.
12:45.
Those two will go.
That will
off.
be a big crowd.
It will be a massive crowd. And Brett, I'm a little disappointed. I understand 7:20, the first group that goes off, but right after 7:30, my guy Jake Knapp goes off. How about that?
There you go. Who's he playing with?
Will's Outdoors. So he's part of my power rankings earlier. That's a good group.
Big, and look forward to that. I'm not promising I'm here at 7:20.
No, I can't promise that. Maybe 8:20. Maybe get around
closer to
9:20.
9:20.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Probably closer to.
But I'll sure be on the tee box at 12:45 for the big guns.
Oh, everybody will. I mean, we talked earlier with John Goen, and you asked, I mean, who is the guy to see that gets the most eyeballs? How could it not be Scotty Scheffler after the year he's had and what he's done? I mean, he's going to have a ton of people around him all weekend.
And the rise of Scotty Scheffler just goes to show the power. If you're in that winner's circle, you're going to get known.
Certainly.
You know, all that in Louisville, I think he was known before that.
Sure.
But also how he handled that.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
think really
handled it like a pro. And so, yeah, I mean, it's definitely that. But I think it's interesting, Brett, because I think, early in the year when we were talking about Scotty and the year he had started off having, and it was, can this be a guy that's the face of golf because he's not really out there much and he really kind of keeps to himself and all of that. And, now it just feels like how good he's been with everything he's won. You get a gold medal at the Olympics. It just feels like, it doesn't matter how much you talk or what you do outside of the golf course. He is turned into a fan favorite, already was a fan favorite. But, yeah, it's going to be a lot of people following him all weekend long here, and that's going to be exciting.
It will be, and I hope the crowds are great for the weekend.
Yeah, no, it feels like it will.
All week.
Yeah, it feels like it will, and from early tomorrow morning, 7:20, the first group tees off, and 1:15, the last group tees off. So, I know I've heard it. John was talking about it, and I've heard that same kind of complaint of, man, only 70 guys here. It's going to be a much smaller group to get out and see. But I mean, all day out here, you're going to have the 70 best golfers on tour playing on this course. I mean, it is a great opportunity to see some great golf.
I prefer this over the full field.
For sure.
That largely is a lot of people that you're not familiar with.
Yeah.
But again, tomorrow morning at 7:20, you got Justin Rose, who's won a U.S. Open and a gold medal.
Yeah.
It's T-Buster. It's Do-Buster.
Yes, I mean, that is a great group to start it off. And, I mean, we mentioned it earlier. Just, you can go through pretty much every group on the sheet, and, you can see somebody that is a, storyline, a great golfer. I mean, heck, like I said, it's the 70 best golfers. It's going to be somebody you want to see.
I joked about 9:30. At 9:35, you've got Wyndham Clark, who won the U.S. Open last summer at Los Angeles Country Club.
Yeah.
And Ludwig Aubert, that everybody's waiting on to be breakout superstar.
Yeah. What time is that again? I got to make sure I'm here before that tees off.
9:35.
I got to see him. We've been talking about him all year long, and he's one of those. I mean, he's the guy I picked for our golf picks this week. So, he's a guy that I've really enjoyed watching all year long. So that's definitely going to be a guy I follow around probably a lot tomorrow.
And a guy we keep waiting for at major time. He hadn't won this year. I don't know how, because just a great game. Patrick Cantlay.
Yeah.
He tees off at 12:25 with Beyond.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot of great groups out here. And so, make sure you get here and get out here and enjoy this golf, because, like you said earlier, Brett, it's the best weekend of the year out here.
I think pound for pound, best field we've ever had.
Sure.
We had the full 156 a lot of years, but some of them, like two-glove Tommy Gainey we didn't want to see.
Sure. I think all these guys you definitely want to see.
Who helicoptered his putter at his caddy one time. I saw it.
That's not what you want to do, but I guess, whatever you got to do. Well, we need to get to a break here in a second. Let me tell you about our great sponsors, though, before we do it. Our title sponsor, Landers Ford. We'll have scoreboard updates all day tomorrow and all day on Friday. Those scoreboard updates brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin. And then all of our other great sponsors like First National Bank, Jason's Deli, Wade Incorporated, your North Mississippi John Deere dealer, Ronnie Grisani's, Town Village Audubon Park, Banyan Tree Realtors, Wilson's Power Wash, DeSoto Honda, Jim's Place, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, and Memphis Tourism and the Memphis Sports Council. Well, let's wrap up this hour and get to a break. When we come back, sitting with us at the desk, Doug Bell from PGA Tour Radio. He joins us on Sports Time.
Blue Shield of Tennessee, they're proud to give back to communities across the state. Giving back to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which helps treat and defeat childhood cancer, is a meaningful effort that is very close to their hearts. They're honored to stand alongside 1,600 dedicated volunteers and tournament participants as they make this year's annual FedEx St. Jude Golf Tournament fundraiser a resounding success right here in Memphis, Tennessee. To read more about how Blue Cross Blue Shield helps communities, please visit bcbst.com.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's, not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home in Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
The best golfers in the world are coming to Memphis for the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwind throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news and talking with the players and officials. Our coverage of TPC Southwind on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM is brought to you by Landers Ford in Carterville. Also sponsored by Town Village Audubon Park, Wilson's Power Wash, Wade Incorporated, your North Mississippi John Deere dealer, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, and Jason's Deli. Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church located in town Memphis.
We are Sports 56 That's WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's finally starting to pick up with a little bit more volume just in the last few minutes on 240 East up by Poplar, working your way up to Walnut Grove. It's looking pretty good right now. Let's keep it that way on 40 East from Sycamore View Road here all the way out past Germantown Parkway. It got a little bit busy a few minutes ago as you come off the interstate there onto Austin P Highway going outbound. Havenly Showers is your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a curbless shower conversion. HavenlyShowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. We're out here at TPC Southwind for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. We'll be out here through the rest of the week. We're in here at the Hub on 18. Make sure you come by, stop in, say hello. We're also giving away tickets to Memphis football versus Troy here in a couple weeks, so make sure you stop by and register for those tickets. But joining us now at the table, Doug Bell from PGA Tour Radio. Doug, it's good to see you. What do you expect this weekend here in Memphis?
Well, Bryant, Brett, great to see you guys. This is kind of our annual visit, right?
Yeah,
sure
right.
You guys here
in
at
person.
The Hub. Yeah, no, it's exciting. Final 70, you got the real deal here. And this is the start of the playoffs. And already the regular season, if you put all the histrionics to the side, the live golf thing, right? Think about what's happened on the tour this year.
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler, I give him 7 wins. I count the Olympics as a win.
There you go.
Won the Masters, the Players, a gold medal. Xander goes 2 majors. That's story number 2. Bryson DeChambeau, maybe the best shot in U.S. Open history out of that bunker in the 72nd hole. That's number 3. Nick Dunlap, 20-year-old, wins as an amateur, and then has to win again as a member of the PGA Tour to qualify for the playoffs. But what a year, right?
Yeah.
And then Robert McIntyre, who's here, this young kid from Scotland, who was so homesick, was on the verge of quitting, begs his dad to come and caddy for him in Canada. Dad, I need somebody with me, a family member. He wins.
Wow.
And then backs it up, winning the tournament he dreamed of as a kid, the Scottish Open. I mean, think about the year we've had, guys.
Incredible.
I mean, a lot of talk off the course, all this craziness, but on the course, it's really been cool.
Should I read Doug my not top story
please.
today?
Come on, ring it.
It's almost like live doesn't exist when you're watching week in and week out on tour or listening to PGA Tour Radio, or you're at an event. Yeah, we miss Bryson DeChambeau, we miss Cameron Smith, we miss Brooks Koepka and some others, John Rahm, but only for nostalgia we miss Phil. Unbelievably, the PGA Tour is alive and kicking. I mean, it was counted out, and it's fine. At the majors, we're fine. At the Ryder Cup, President's Cup, we're fine. Our tournament here in Memphis is fine. Golf's going forward just fine without Taylor Gooch.
But guys, here's the deal.
That was at 3:15.
It was.
Hey, here's
People
what,
in their car going, man,
listen,
it wasn't that good, dude. Why are you reading it again?
I go to Minneapolis. I go to Detroit, the Quad Cities. You know, they have that Midwestern swing, right? And I'm telling you, the build out and the crowds on Saturday and Sunday in those particular cities are enormous. I mean, those names you mentioned aren't here, but those people don't care.
That's right.
I'm driving around the course today. The build out here is even more than it was last year. I mean, there's more stuff built.
Bigger time here we've ever been.
Incredible. And is anybody saying, gosh, I wish Brooks was here. I wish Rahm was. No. I mean, this is the PGA Tour. Listen, ratings are down. TV ratings are down. But they were so good when Tiger was in his zenith.
Sure.
They're obviously going to come down, right?
It's
in
gravity.
fact, ratings are down in every sport except the NFL and college football.
Yeah, well.
You know, everything kind of levels off and goes down. There's so much to watch now on TV. But I think the PGA Tour, listen, they're obviously negotiating and things will work out. But I'm excited about this week, guys. You should be. I mean, when you see these guys in person, they are the best at what they do on the planet.
I had 45 seconds with Jay Monahan this morning, and I think he's very pleased. I think if he had to give the golf State of the Union, he would end with a resounding, the state of our golf union is while there are questions to be answered, it's mostly strong.
It is, and it's interesting. You do have, and Jack Nicklaus, the great Golden Bear, he was worried about 2 tours. You have the Elite Tour with the signature events.
Mm-hmm.
If you make the top 50, you get in all the big money events next year now. That's why it's so. These guys are playing so hard this week. They want to get in that top 50. And then this fall, you have guys who did not fall in the playoffs, and they're trying to improve their status or maybe get inside the top 125 and get their cards or keep their cards. So that's the thing that concerns Jack. And I listen, when Jack Nicklaus speaks, I listen.
Yeah,
better.
And he thinks that's a concern. But I think moving forward, we're going to have a 2-tier system. We're going to have the Superstar or the Star PGA Tour, which is here. And then you'll have the other tour, which is, if you're a golfer, it's great. But those guys will earn their way onto this tour, or at least the second level if they play well.
On your phone, how many steps for you this year?
Quite a few.
Can Apple calculate?
Quite a few. Listen, I love what I do, and I've been doing it 20 years, guys, which is amazing. And you and I were talking today about our careers, and you're a young guy.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having a fun time. And I just can't believe that I've done so many things over a long period of time. But I can't believe I've been out here for 2 decades. And thank goodness when I started, a guy named Eldrick Tiger Woods was just getting going.
Yeah.
And that created opportunities. I mean, it's amazing the opportunities this guy created for everybody. And that's why all these young guys out right now, you ask 100% of them.
He's the king to them.
He's the guy. He's the reason they
should be.
They went out and started practicing.
Doug, I've said any player in the Tiger years, all right, if you're at your one vacation house, you could say something snotty about him. If you're at the second one, you're a sorry dog if you run Tiger Woods down.
Yeah.
Because he made you.
Yeah.
Well, they have enjoyed the fruits of his incredible success, almost unmatched.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can say what you want about Jack. That was a different era altogether.
Yeah.
But what Tiger created in this game and the popularity globally will never be matched again.
I wish I could write down where Bryant could say, I think I'll know the answer. Of all the shots you called of Tiger Woods, what was the one that you still slack-jawed? Can't believe even he did that.
Great question, and
I'm going to bet Akron in the dark.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And, for us football fans, that 18th hole at Akron, those big trees on either side of the green, it's like a goalpost. I mean, it was remarkable. And that was really dark.
Pitch dark.
That was pitch dark.
And it landed like a sack of sugar right by the pin.
I laugh because, we all as kids, you played football or something and you put the headlights on. Let's play a little bit longer. And they really were. The scoreboard, if not for the scoreboard, that green wouldn't have been lit up. And I laughed last week, Matt Kuchar refused to play for whatever reason, right? Tiger wasn't going to quit that night. It was pitch black.
No, we're going home.
He was so good, he could play in the dark.
Yeah.
That's how good he was.
Would you have a favorite?
That
wasn't it?
Well, my favorite tournament when he came back and won at the Tour Championship. Remember that?
And how they ushered him down 18.
That was,
East Lake.
I mean, I followed him all 72 holes that week. I was so lucky. And it was just something I never thought I was going to see. I did not think he was capable of that comeback.
Yeah.
And I still think it's the greatest comeback, not just in golf, with all due respect to the great Ben Hogan. I think it was the greatest comeback in sports.
Doug, I saw you. I was at 2019 at the Masters all 4 days.
Yeah, and then you won the Masters in 19.
And that Sunday, it's hard to say it's number one. It's up there as a Cardinal baseball fan seeing them. The David Freese home run is up there. Coach Bryant's last game here in Memphis is way up there.
I love
for
those
me.
moments.
But Tiger, that day and that reception and really all that weekend, and then the 2 years later after COVID, when to see the appreciation of they really did love him. He is a patron favorite.
Oh my goodness! And it's tough to see him struggle now, guys. He played 5 times. Genesis he pulled out on Friday. When he had the flu or whatever, and then played in the majors. And I think that's probably the same schedule he'll have next year.
Yeah.
And he'll play in his tournament in the Bahamas, and he'll play with his son Charlie at the PNC. And he laughed. He said, "That's my 5th major now, right?" Which is fun to watch him and Charlie play.
Oh, yeah.
But that's all. So you need to appreciate those moments, although it is hard to see him struggle. It's so difficult to watch him struggle.
We've said it a lot of times. I can almost hear Cosell calling Muhammad Ali against Trevor Berbick, saying, "In the name of all things holy, stop this! Stop this fight."
Well, it's not quite that bad.
It was last year in that cold at Augusta.
Yeah, he struggled.
That was hard. I mean, and he was badly injured again.
Yeah. Well, listen, you got to cherish those moments, and it'll be his decision and nobody else's, whether he keeps playing or not.
Where were you on that Friday morning in Louisville when everything went down with Scotty Scheffler?
Well, it's interesting. I got a call early from my producer at CBS. I do stuff for CBS Sports Digital. Right. And he alerted me, even though, as you get older, you always get up early, but you're not quite. Right. And he goes, "Are you watching, what's going on?" I was like, "No." So I flip it on, and oh, my goodness, right? And then, "Can you be ready to go on in 5 minutes?" And, I don't worry about what I look like anymore.
Let me run a brush.
Let's come here, right? And I was on for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
As we were just doing crazy cut-ins.
Scotty handled it great, didn't he?
He sure did.
Yeah. What a year he's had, guys.
Man.
What a year. I heard you talking about it before the break.
Yeah.
I mean, and I thought it was interesting.
I don't know if I could be that nice if I got thrown in the jug.
Well, I mean, they posed the question to Victor this week, 6 wins and a gold medal or 2 majors.
Yeah.
Which is better, he or Xander? And Victor quickly said, well, I kind of like 2 majors sounds better to me.
Mm.
But think about, Scotty has won 6 times, the Masters.
Yeah.
And the only guy ever to go back-to-back at the Players. Mm-hmm. And his 4 other wins were signature events.
Yeah.
Against the best players, right? And then he tops it going gold at the Olympic, bogey-free 64, coming back from 4 back.
Including the handshake from Jack Nicklaus.
Sure.
Oh, my goodness.
At the Memorial.
Well, and he won at the Memorial, one of the toughest tracks on the PGA Tour. Mm-hmm. Won at Bay Hill, maybe the toughest track in the PGA Tour. Those greens are incredibly difficult, although he plays really good on fast greens.
Yeah.
And listen, he top 10 at the Open Championship, putted very poorly. Top 10 at the PGA after getting arrested on Friday morning. And the U.S. Open was his worst performance, although I think he was out of gas after winning Jack's tournament the week before. But, what a year. It's one for the ages.
Oh, yeah.
And here he could win in Memphis. Mm-hmm. He's the favorite for a reason. If you're a fantasy player and you don't have him on one of your 3 guys, why not? Maybe you've used all your Scotty Schefflers for the year, but he's going to be there, guys. This golf course sets up perfectly for him.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Well, and you mentioned it earlier how you like to count what he did at the Olympics in terms of what he did, and it's kind of a conversation you see with these golfers. You see it with the basketball players at the Olympics. These guys don't really care as much about the Olympics than they do about what they're doing in their regular life. But you could see on Sunday. With Scotty, when they're playing the national anthem, he's moved to tears with that. That was such a cool scene to watch on that Sunday in Paris.
Yeah, very emotional. I got emotional watching that.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that's the coolest thing when an athlete realizes this is bigger than just another event, right? It's for my country.
Yeah.
That's really neat. And Victor Perez, the Frenchman, who's here, by the way, he finished number 70. He hit the ceremonial first shot in Paris. And he said that was just one of those moments that he'll never forget. And he desperately wanted a medal. Finished 4th.
Wow.
And played really well on that Sunday.
Sure did.
But it was very emotional for him.
And his countryman, Matthew Pavon, who is here as well this week in Memphis.
France has a pretty good basketball team.
Yes,
pretty
they do.
good golfers.
Yeah.
That basketball team almost beat us.
The revenge of Jean Van de Velde.
That's a great line. I may use that this week on the broadcast.
There you go.
Please do. Don't get severed over it.
No. So looking at this course, we've been kind of talking about it all afternoon. There's not that signature hole like you see at some of these other places, but when you put it together, the whole 18 holes can be challenging. What do you think about this course here in Memphis?
It's very underrated.
Yeah.
TPC Southwind. As the playoffs have come, and the more I come here, the more I love it. And I realize it's challenging for these guys.
It grows on you.
It grows on you.
It's taking a
but
while.
all the TPC courses do. TPC River Highlands, where they play the Travelers.
Great.
Wonderful golf course. Very underrated. Short golf course, but really fun. TPC Deer Run, where they play the John Deere.
Craig Ranch will never grow.
You know what? You don't like that golf course. I like the TPC courses, and again, this is a really good golf course. It really is, and I like the finish. 16, 17, and 18.
Yeah.
Brutes.
You got the par 5, scoreable. You better score.
Yeah, you have to, or you lose ground.
You got to hang on at 17, and then this crazy dogleg left, the 90-degree dogleg. I mean, who knows?
We were talking earlier. It really lacks a signature hole.
It does. I heard Brian say that. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There really isn't one, is there?
I think they want to make 14 into one. And statistically, it will stand up with the best par 3s on tour all year. Yeah. But it's not. It's not Golden Bell. It's not even the raucous par 3 at Phoenix. It's sure not the postage stamp, but it's a really workmanlike.
Yeah,
it almost defines this course.
Well, and number 3, the par 5 with the water up there by the green. That's a beautiful hole.
That's my favorite.
I mean, is that the signature hole?
Can a number 5 anywhere be your signature?
Probably not. So you're right.
8 at Pebble Beach is one thing.
Well, I will say this, and it is the setting. It's not Pebble Beach. I mean, you don't have an ocean. You don't have a body of water. Yeah. It's really a beautiful golf course that has withstood the test of time. I mean, the PGA Tour has been playing here for a long, long time.
Other than Augusta National, what's one course when you're out there tracing about doing your job that you stop and pause and go, I'm here. I'm at this course.
Well, I mean, Pebble Beach is just a slice of golf heaven. And you get caught. It's
Can
funny.
You see Cypress Point from the course?
No.
Okay.
No. But sometimes I was with Judy Rankin at the U.S. Open. Remember when Graham McDowell won? And GMAC in the news now. He failed his drug test on LIV, by the way. That's a crazy
UAB golfer.
UAB golfer, yeah. But I was walking with Judy Rankin at that U.S. Open, and as we looked out into the water, she walks over to me. She goes, do you sometimes daydream and lose focus of the golf? Just looking, I said, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Because, you just look out, and next thing you know, somebody said, hey, Doug, you ready for your shot? And you're like, oh, yeah. I was looking at the whales out there jumping around in the water. I mean, it's spectacular, guys.
That's
it really
incredible.
is. And to play it, have you guys played double?
No.
Oh, my goodness.
I've never been.
Oh.
I want to U.S. Open's out there in a few years.
You've got to go.
Oh, man.
You got to go. And just the drive up to the golf course. And
I think 2026 U.S. Opens at Pebble.
Oh, it's wonderful. It really is, yeah.
Talking to Doug Bell from PGA Tour Radio. I don't want to phrase this question this way because it's the top 70 golfers. They're all great. Mm-hmm. But we know Scotty, Xander. We know the guys at the top.
Sure.
Who are some guys maybe at the back of the pack of this top 70 that could make some noise this weekend?
Well, those guys on the bottom, again, the reason they're 70 to 60 because they're not as good as the guys 1 through 25 or 1 through 30. And listen, there is a difference between the top guys and the guys at 70, even though they're the best. But guys, I'm looking at, those top guys are favorites for a reason. Mm-hmm. But a guy who's really hot and playing really well, and I talked to him briefly today, Billy Horschel, who finished second at the Open Championship. I thought he was going to win last week, and just kind of fell off that crazy 36-hole finale at Wyndham.
FedEx Cup champion.
Yeah, and he's really, really playing well. Mackenzie Hughes will tee off early tomorrow morning. He's a Canadian who wants to be on the President's Cup team. And
in Montreal.
In order to be considered and be a captain's pick, Mike Weir, the captain, he feels he has to get in the top 50. So this is a big week for him to climb into that top 50. He feels if he doesn't get in, there's a legitimate reason to leave him off. So, I mean, those are two guys that, that aren't exactly on everybody's radar screen. And, the other guy I mentioned earlier, Robert McIntyre. Have you guys seen the kid from Scotland?
That's Brett's guy. Oh, man.
My guy. One a week for me.
He's a very talented young guy. Very emotional. He's kind of quiet, and he speaks in that Scottish brogue. Sometimes it's hard to understand him. But he's a very, very gifted golfer who doesn't get a lot of publicity here in the United States. He should. He's won twice now. He won 2 national opens in Canada and Scotland. So those are just some of the guys.
He just has to win in the United States for a chance.
Never won here.
He's punched the passport everywhere else.
But for the people listening, if you get to come out and watch Scotty Scheffler seriously.
Oh, man.
I mean, he's number 1 strokes gained overall. I mean, and from tee to green, his statistical numbers are rivaled only by what Tiger did during his 10-year super run.
That's some company.
I mean, we're talking a huge gap. And when he has a wedge in his hand from 100 to 125 yards, Scotty Scheffler, I mean, his proximity to the hole is almost 7 feet closer than anyone else.
Wow.
I mean, think about this. You know, we get into the numbers when you're out here all the time on the PGA Tour, but when he puts a wedge in his hand, he has no rival. No rival. So I hope people get to come out and watch the brilliance of this guy.
Yeah.
And I hope he has a good putting week. That's the thing.
The question.
And he seems really normal.
Yes.
You know, he still drives. I think it's an old. I think it's close to 200,000 miles. This old SUV that he bought back when he was on the Corn Ferry.
Wow, that is a little too normal.
Well, you know, he lives close to where he plays in
Yeah.
Dallas, and of course he has a little baby now.
Sure.
When he's on the road, he'll scope out where the Chipotles are.
Love that.
You know, he's a golfer, and he
Wow.
loves it. When he's home, obviously now he has duties with a little baby, but loves pickleball. And he really is a normal guy.
And the perfect transition. He was asked this today in the media room by Mike Sadie from Channel 3 here in Memphis, sports anchor here Monday through Friday night. Mike Sadie asked him how he thought Texas would do in the SEC.
What did he say?
He said, "I think we'll be fine with Texas."
Is that what he said?
Oh, that's great.
That's a good answer. I was there for the Alabama-Texas game
last year.
You know, when he was presented the PGA Tour Player of the Year.
They
gave it
2
to him
years ago.
on game day 2
Yeah.
years ago because it was so hot there in Austin.
That was the Bama win.
Yeah.
It felt like a loss.
The Bryce Young comeback there. They kicked the last-second field goal. But he was there, and so there's a lot of ribbing among the players.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
They love their football. I mean, Justin Thomas, he's a huge Alabama
Now,
guy.
I know he's lived now, but has Sergio married to a Texas girl, Austin girl? Is he Longhorns football?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, his wife, her dad.
Oh, I remember him well.
Was a famous Texas quarterback.
Marty Akins.
Yeah.
I remember him well. And he famously Drew Brees' uncle?
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yes. And, you know, it's interesting. He was having.
You know, Marty Akins stepped out of bounds on that touchdown run against Bama back in the early 70s, and they didn't call it.
Well, and I'm still worried about that Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
Where Joe Namath.
Laying in the end zone.
He got in the end zone, didn't he?
What are you looking at?
That was Joe's last game, I believe.
Oh,
well, and Sonny Werblin dried the tears with the Jets contract in that end zone. He signed right there on the field with the Jets.
In green ink, by the way, a friend of mine is an autograph collector, was a kid, and got Joe Namath to sign a program. This is interesting. And when he went to an autograph guy in Las Vegas, this big autograph guy, the guy opened it up and went crazy. And Chuck had kept it in mint condition, and he said, "That's in green ink." And Chuck's like, "Well, what does that mean?" He said, "He borrowed the pen of the owner of the Jets."
It's crazy.
Wow.
Who signed everything in green ink.
Wow.
And so he signed his name with the owners. I mean, this is like crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's smart.
Holy cow.
And so anyway, this my friend who's an autograph guy sold that to this collector.
That's good stuff.
I mean, it's little like thing. Is that crazy or what?
That is
and
crazy.
only this guy knew about the green ink story. My friend Chuck didn't even know about it.
Your Bama friends that you're around so much in Birmingham, are they still in shock or over the retirement of the greatest college football coach ever? Coach Nick Saban?
Yeah.
Well, I think they're still in shock. And
it broke live while we're on the air.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what we were talking about.
Yeah. Coach Saban seems very happy in retirement.
Sure does.
Playing a ton of golf. Bought a beautiful home in Jupiter, Florida. Spends a lot of time there. On social media, his wife and his daughter, I mean, there's pictures of them all over the place. And I interviewed Reese Davis a few weeks ago.
If he ever tweets, I faint.
Yeah. Well, no, I interviewed Reese on my podcast a few weeks ago, and working with Coach Saban, they are so impressed. I mean, this guy doesn't just show up.
Oh, at SEC Media Day,
They said his preparation.
He was first one downstairs every day.
They said his I mean, Reese is like, this guy's looking at tape, breaking out tape. You know, this was several months ago in preparation for the upcoming season. I mean, it's
wow.
So he's going to bring an element to game day, which I think is probably needed. Coach Corso, who I think celebrated his 89th birthday on Monday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. The Sunshine Scooter.
Oh, yeah.
Lee Corso grew up down in Miami. And do you know the Brooklyn Dodgers wanted to sign him out of high school?
I did.
What?
Yeah, Lee Corso. He was a great high school baseball and football
Holy
player.
Cow.
And he chose to go to FSU because the coaches at that time told him he could play both sports.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he was a great running back, even though he laughs and says Burt Reynolds was the the better player or whatever, had the prettier girlfriends, whatever his line is.
Yeah.
But he was also a star
What
outfielder.
happened to that
guy?
guy?
I don't know. I heard
Never
he made
heard
some
of
good
him.
movies. No, but game day will be fun, and
Yeah.
I think Coach Saban will bring an element. But to answer your question, yeah, the fans are still in shock, and there's, I mean, obviously, offensively, I think Alabama's going to be really good. And Coach Saban even said at SEC Media Days, he's worried about the secondary on defense.
Well, he knows secondary.
Yeah,
When
sure
did you
does.
get? What was your first year in the Birmingham market?
1989.
Wow.
Okay, so you came in for Bill Curry's last year.
Yes, yeah.
So you missed right after Coach Bryant passed away. I've talked so much that we're finally getting to see what we got deprived because of Coach Bryant passing away. We're getting ready. We get to see Coach Saban in retirement and enjoying all these things.
You know, it's interesting, and we're probably running out of time, but let me ask you this as we kind of segue to football, and it's going to be a much anticipated SEC season. I mean, it's incredible. Texas and Oklahoma, right? And obviously Ole Miss.
I'm in the hour countdown.
Ole Miss has an opportunity. They haven't had an opportunity maybe ever. And, you know, the Coach Bryant era was amazing. The Coach Saban era was amazing. Is the Coach Spurrier era somewhat glossed over? Because when he came to the SEC, he not only changed the offensive philosophy, it coincided with the CBS 3:30 Eastern game.
That's a great point.
That is a good
And
point.
they were on every big game.
Yeah.
It was Florida, Tennessee, Florida, LSU, Florida, Georgia, Florida against Alabama in the SEC championship.
And he walloped everybody.
Yep.
I mean, I think people forget everything changed in the conference.
Well, he was such a revolutionary.
He was, wasn't he?
And
I mean,
Heisman Trophy winner, national championship coach.
And I hate to say things like that because Coach Bryant deserves mucho credit, right? And obviously what Coach Saban did over 17 years was amazing. But
Where do we leave Urban then? Urban won 2 in Florida.
Sure did.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just – and, of course, there was Ron Zook in the middle, right? Didn't Spurrier leave and Ron Zook and then Urban came in? Well, I don't think Urban was there long enough.
Yeah.
And he did an amazing job recruiting.
Sure.
I mean, he brought in –
And 1-2.
And 1-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, with 2 different quarterbacks.
And you know, and you go way back, I think General Neyland should always be listed in those great coaches.
Well, the history is amazing in the SEC,
is.
right? But I think Coach Spurrier gets glossed over sometimes.
That's a great point.
I don't know. I remember that era. That was an amazing era, right?
Sure was.
Every Saturday, and sometimes it was prime time.
And
Florida,
we were there
Tennessee.
at the first SEC
Oh, my
championship
goodness.
game. And
Boy, was
it
that
made you
cold.
Oh, gosh. I tell the story. I've told it a million times. I'll tell it again. I got introduced to auxiliary media that day.
Oh, geez.
I drive down and back in one day, and our friend Larry White's running sports information at Alabama, and I have a big red AUX on my credential. I said, "What does AUX mean?" He said, "It means your ass is outside."
Oh, man. Oh, not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
At Old Legion Field.
And he came and got me at halftime after the TV people all went to the sideline, and I got to warm up.
Man, that is tough. Well, Doug,
That is tough.
It is always so much fun when
Brian.
we can get you on. Thanks so
Good to
much
see
for
ya.
joining us, and enjoy this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hope to see you guys out on the golf course.
Absolutely.
Just wave at me.
You got it, Doug.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Have fun around town. Thank you. Doug Bell
Thanks,
with
Doug.
us from PGA Tour Radio. It is great catching up with him.
Yeah.
We visited Big earlier today, Will all weekend, and so much fun to visit with him. One of our great sponsors of almost said SEC Media Days, of the FedEx St. Jude Championship. They were with us at SEC Media Days, and they'll be with us all fall with for Friday football forecast, and that's our friends at First National Bank and Trust with its roots in eastern Arkansas as a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, now firmly in West Tennessee. Eastern Arkansas's largest independently owned bank, now in West Tennessee with those great locations over on Ridge Lake Boulevard and in Collierville. They focus on their clients in the Mid-South for all their banking needs, personal banking, business banking, online banking. I have the mobile app. I had to prove it at SEC
Yes, you
Media
did.
Days to you and Rob Fisher and Richard Cross. Courage and confidence has been displayed by First National Bank and Trust officers throughout its great history. In good times and in challenging times, First National Bank and Trust, they've been recognized as one of the most progressive banking institutions in the country, and it's well-deserved. Commercial, residential, recreational, customers depend on First National Bank and Trust because they know real estate. Contact any member of the FNBT team or call them at 901-498-5763.
Well, let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
1456 and 98.5 FM.
Wash your house, wash your office building? Impossible! Not if you call Wilson's Pro Wash. Your house, fence, driveway, warehouse, store, hotel, even cars and trucks can all be squeaky clean and beautiful after pressure washing by Wilson's Pro Wash. Wilson's specializes in cleaning all hard surfaces, concrete, stone, brick, and mortar, even wood and vinyl siding. Then Wilson's can seal their surfaces so they stay looking brand new. Call Wilson's Pro Wash, 901-524-6799, or online at wilsonsprowash.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous, a legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
Get in on all the UFC 305 action live from the land down under at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC. If you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5, that's it, to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Code is HERD, that's me, H-E-R-D. New customers will get $150 in bonus bets for betting just $5, that's it, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. See terms, eligibility, and responsible gaming resources at dkng.co/MMA.
Price does not include licensing costs, registration fees, taxes, and dealer dock fee of $899.50, which are to be paid by the consumer. Silverado RG $377,592, MSRP $61,065, dealer discount $42.74, factory rebate $47.50, trade assistance $1,000, must trade in 2010 or newer vehicle, track stock number RC 246,913, MSRP $23,395, dealer discount $14.03, expires 9/3/24.
If you're looking to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees, then Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, Arkansas is the place for you. At Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, you can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and is now available to everyone. A membership is $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar, all less than 15 minutes from downtown and midtown Memphis. Meadowbrook Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on and Cleveland clubs. If golf isn't for you, try the social membership for only $250 a month. And there's 2 levels of all-inclusive junior memberships, 20 to 29 for $200 a month and 30 to 34 for $250 a month. Call for your tee time today at Meadowbrook Country Club, 870-394-4186. Now semi-private Tuesday through Sunday. Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, 870-394-4186.
Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Well, Brett, about 30 minutes left in today's show. We're going to talk about what's trending, but we just had a great conversation with Doug Bell. We're out here at the FedEx St. Jude Championship getting ready for everything to tee off tomorrow. And, man, Brett, we could have gone all night with Doug Bell, just talking golf, talking some football, talking a little bit of everything. But obviously it's going to be a really, really fun next couple of days here at Southwind. With the FedEx St. Jude Championship, the top 70 golfers on the PGA Tour will be here. We gave away a pair of tickets earlier for tomorrow's first round. We're going to give away another pair of tickets right now. So if you want to get out here for round one action tomorrow, give the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line a call, 901-360-8255. That's 901-360-8255. We'll take first caller, so call in now, and you will be able to get out there tomorrow. Get out here tomorrow for the FedEx St. Jude Championship Round 1. Maybe see Scotty Scheffler, Xander, one of those great players, or maybe see one of those young guys that we've been talking about, like Ludwig Aubert. Any group you see, you're going to see a great golfer.
Well, we covered the gamut in our picks. Darian has Scotty Scheffler and Corey Connors. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Bryant, you have Ludwig Aubert and Max Homa.
Yeah.
I have Xander Schauffele and Colin Morikawa, and John has Rory McIlroy and Sahith Theegala. I'll be stunned if the winner's not somewhere in there.
It feels like we all kind of had a different strategy to try, or at least I did. I wanted to go a little different this week and just an attempt to try to catch up on John. He's been terrific all year in terms of winning the most money.
Too big to rig. He's got too big a lead. I don't know how we can cheat him out of it.
I don't either. We've tried in the past, but I don't know if we're going to be able to. Oh, we absolutely will, but I don't know if it might be too late in the game this year. Brett, a couple things I want to talk about in this segment during What's Trending. We talked a couple of days ago about Jim Harbaugh going to be the honorary captain Week 1 for Michigan against Fresno State. And, of course, that comes with a little bit of controversy after everything that has come out about the Connor Stallion situation and all of that. He gets the year suspension from college football. Came out yesterday that now he will not be the honorary captain. I was a little bit worried about what that was, cold feet by Michigan or something like that.
Too much smoke?
That's what I thought, at least. What I've read today, it seems like prior engagements, obviously with what he's doing now with the Los Angeles Chargers, I think you could easily question that and say, okay, if there was really something in the way, why wasn't that talked about before it was announced? They obviously had to talk to him about getting him to be honorary captain, but obviously when the NFL season is going, it's really hard, so maybe just trying to get him in there before the season starts. So it'll be his mom and dad as the honorary captains,
That's nice.
Jack and Jackie, so they will serve as the honorary captains in that first game against Fresno State. So it won't be as much, as it would have been with Jim Harbaugh, but it'll still be cool.
And very sadly now, J.J. McCarthy can be there because his duties with the Vikings are over for this year.
Yeah, and it's just it honestly is a shame that it's come to this, because I think it felt like a mixed bag on what people thought about J.J. McCarthy, but I think everybody wanted to see him out there, wanted to see what he could do this year as a rookie, and now unfortunately we won't be able to see that.
We will be back here tomorrow, and Eli Savoy and Greg Gaston will kick off the day at 7 a.m. Then Dave Woloshin will be here for Wolo and Friends at 10 a.m. John Harden here at 11. We'll be back tomorrow at 3. And one of our great sponsors for this event and for at SEC Media Days and for here at FedEx St. Jude Championship, that's Wade Incorporated, your North Mississippi John Deere dealer for over 100 years, 14 locations across the state of Mississippi, but here in our area in Hernando and Batesville, Tunica, and beyond, farm technology continues to evolve, and John Deere and Wade Incorporated at the forefront. If it's not green, you're doing it totally wrong, from yard work to weekend getaways to big farms. For anything outside, get in the green zone for mowers, zero-turn mowers, commercial mowers, Gator utility vehicles, the crossover utility vehicle, 3-person deluxe cab with heat and air, easy shifting. If you can drive a golf cart, you can drive anything I just described. Compact construction equipment. Schedule a demo today. Buy online and learn more about financing at WadeIncorporated.com. Over 100 years, Wade Incorporated, servicing the Mid-South. Get in the green zone with John Deere and Wade Incorporated. reuniting great people, premier products, and innovative solutions.
Brett, I saw earlier today Peacock, who obviously everybody knows NBC and Notre Dame's relationship. Peacock, the streaming service of NBC, will launch their own Hard Knocks-style docuseries this month titled Here Come the Irish.
We've been waiting on it.
We definitely
Here
have.
comes the college Hard Knocks.
Yes, absolutely. And I remember probably when I was like in middle school maybe, ESPNU had a series that was called All Access, and it was off-season, more kind of around spring, early fall camp. Not really Hard Knocks, just kind of behind the scenes. I guess kind of Hard Knocks, but it wasn't like the day in, day out of Hard Knocks, what it is. So I am interested. I always like that All Access series with those college teams. But it'll be fun. I'm sure that will get a lot of viewers on Peacock after we heard the number that Peacock did at the Olympics. NBC as a whole, what a win they had at the Olympics. But especially Peacock, the streaming service, had big figures come in from the Olympics. So, trying to capitalize on that with now a docuseries following the Irish.
And NBC on a roll, and we're getting ready to see a lot of college football.
Yes,
we are. A lot of Big Ten from the NBC, of course, Sunday Night Football. And then after this season, back with the NBA with NBC. And I think Mike Tirico will be in that spot, won't he, as the lead NBA voice?
I would, if I had to guess, I would say yeah.
They got a lot of talent.
They certainly, talent all over the place
including young Mr. Eagle.
Exactly, and we saw him at the Olympics, for those 2 weeks. And
he's going to be
around
awesome for the next 40 years.
He absolutely will be, and he was really good on those Olympic broadcasts. And I think Olympics probably not the easiest to do when you're not calling Team USA games. It's a lot of names you haven't heard of with some of these teams, and he knocked it out of the park.
Here's one from the Olympics, and he's more of a Fox guy when we get to NFL.
Yeah.
And I knew he could, but Kenny Albert was so good at the Olympics, and his sports were not ones.
No.
I mean, I bet he had to really study for you and be really prepared. No shocker that he was.
Certainly.
But we hear him more on the NFL side with Fox.
Definitely. No, you're absolutely right. I think NBC certainly has plenty of guys over there, plenty of talented people over there for whatever they need. I mentioned earlier we'll have our Sissy's Log Cabin scoreboard updates the next 2 days. How about a little Sissy's Log Cabin look at the starting times and pairs for tomorrow? You mentioned it earlier, 7:20, Justin Rose and Ben Griffin will get the day started on the first tee. Right after that, Will Zalatoris and Jake Knapp. I know nobody cares about that group except for me. I do care about that group. Cam Young, Tommy Fleetwood a little bit later in the day at 8:30 a.m. I know a lot of people here really like Tommy Fleetwood and what he has done in his career on the PGA Tour. Billy Horschel, a guy that Doug was telling us about, maybe look out for him, a guy at the back of the pack. Tees off at 8:55. Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa, a really good group there. They'll tee off at 9:45 a.m. Again, you mentioned this earlier, Brett, and I should mention that as well. Everybody going off the first tee tomorrow and Friday, so don't have to worry about trying to figure out where they're teeing off from. Victor Hovland, we mentioned him earlier. No. Descent Live, we're not doing shotgun start. 10:30 for Victor Hovland. And then later in the day, Max Homa, JT Poston should be a good group at 11:20. Aaron Rye, who won last week, and Jason Day, they'll go off at 11:40. Russell Henley, Tony Finau, 12:15. And then some heavy hitter groups towards the end of the day in terms of start times. Sahith Theegala and Hideki Matsuyama at 12:35. Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele will be the marquee group of the week. They'll tee off at 12:45. Maverick McNeely and Taylor Moore at 12:55. Jordan Spieth and Mark Hubbard at 1:05. And then we'll wrap up the start times with Emiliano Grillo and Victor Perez at 1:15.
It's getting close to dinner time, and there are a lot of great options. One includes, for sure, Jim's Place Grill, over 100 years of charcoal grill steaks, over 100 years of celebrations, family time, and lasting great memories. Saw James Terrace out here today and yesterday and enjoyed visiting with him, the Terrace family, with their touch for our community, recipes that date back to the beginning in downtown to now in Collierville. at the railroad tracks at Poplar and Houston Levy. And when we get into college basketball season every Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock will be Tiger Talk with the commercial appeals. Jason Munns, brought to you by Jim's Place Grill. Go online at jimsplacegrill.com. Don't forget the E in grill. Every steak grilled perfectly over an open flame. Come to Jim's Place and taste and see and feel the difference. Lunch hours Monday through Friday, 11 a to 2 p.m. Dinner hours Monday through Saturday, 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Since 1921, a Memphis landmark. Hard work, values, and a dedication to their valuable diners. The Terrace family, they've created that memorable dining experience. The lunch menu, the staples like the souffle ma, the shrimp cocktail, crab cakes, and those great salad dressings, all homemade. Dinner, the calamari, soup, seafood, and what made them famous, the steaks, ribeyes, strips, and fillets. Great bar area, I'm sure being enjoyed right now at Jim's Place Grill in Collierville.
Well, let's get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Crunch Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There is no reason to suffer the Memphis summer heat when you could just haul yourself downtown to Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect neighborhood bar. There's nothing like the cool, comfortable atmosphere at Bell Tavern. Just grab a table or a stool at the bar and watch the poor suckers that don't know any better walk by in the withering heat in Barbaro Alley when they could be like you, inside Bell Tavern, laughing at other people. I know, it's not nice to laugh at other people, but when they're walking right past Bell Tavern, well, honestly, they kind of have it coming.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Sunrise Summer Summer Sale at Sunrise Buick GMC at Wolf Chase. Get up to $11,000 off MSRP with royalty on a new loaded 24 Sierra 1500 or choose new GMC Sierra 2500 heavy duty at $7,000 off MSRP. Sunrise Buick GMC at Wolf Chase. We are professional brand.
Price does not include licensing costs, registration fees, taxes, and dealer dock fee of $899.50, which are to be paid by the consumer. Light duty RG $245,378 in transit. MSRP $90,475. Dealer discount $57.50. Factory rebate $27.50. Loyalty $2,500. Must own 2010 or newer Buick or GMC vehicle. Heavy duty RF $381,279 in transit. MSRP $97,330. Dealer discount $7,000. Expires 9/3/24.
If you've got questions, O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. MPD is working a couple of accidents out here right now. It's just really crowded on 40 eastbound from Sycamore View Road all the way out past Germantown Parkway. It's just now starting to crank up out of the Midtown area. It's been pretty quiet so far on 240 South as you head down past Norris, 55 south of Memphis down into DeSoto County. Pretty good shape, at least for right now. Havenly Showers is your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub. Curbless shower conversion. HavenlyShowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, and it's actually just coming down in the last couple of minutes, the Patriots, this is according to Ian Rappaport, the Patriots are trading pass rusher Matthew Judon to the Falcons, landing Atlanta a standout on defense. A third-round pick going back to the Patriots in return. Matthew Judon, a player that has been talked about a lot this offseason, trying to get something going, some sort of contract extension in New England, and now we know that they will trade him to the Atlanta Falcons. And a massive pickup for this Falcons team, a young team that's building. You look at that offense, and they've got young weapons that you got to feel, give them a couple of years, and they'll be can't-miss players. And now you shore up that defense with an all-pro type of player, Matthew Judon. So definitely a big-time move for the Falcons. And then for the Patriots, this is a situation that's been lingering. It's been kind of giving them that black cloud over their head certainly of what to do with them. And so now you got that out of the way, and everybody can kind of just wipe their hands off and say everybody wins and let's move on.
Raheem Morris gets a good player in his first year, and in New England, first-year head coach with Gerard Mayo, he gets a fresh start there. Was maybe somebody wasn't that comfortable being there. What I learned, Sportico, with all those valuations of every professional franchise, NBA, NFL, baseball, NHL, MLS. Yesterday, the big story was the Cowboys at the top at $10 billion. Titans are at 28th at $5.3 billion. Grizzlies are 70th, valued at $2.82 billion. 71st. The Cardinals, one behind the Grizzlies, it's $2.76 billion. The New Orleans Pelicans, 72nd, so right in there were Grizzlies, St. Louis Cardinals, New Orleans Pelicans, and the Pelicans are the only NBA team with a lesser valuation than the Grizzlies. The Nashville Predators, 119, valued at $990 million.
Wow.
You buying them?
If I had the money, I would. That's some good numbers, Brett. What I could have done without today, we talked about it earlier during our baseball segment, but what the St. Louis Cardinals are doing with Jordan Walker. We got the news earlier this week that they were going to recall him from Memphis. There had been some injuries, and they needed a guy up in the lineup. So you thought, okay, maybe he obviously ain't going to play today. Maybe he doesn't play tomorrow, but certainly by Wednesday he's in the lineup, because that's what you see with young guys when they get called up, especially these top prospects. When they get called up to the majors, these teams know you got to get them reps. You got to have them swinging the bat. You got to have them play in the field, and you see that. And so now to learn that the idea going forward with Jordan Walker right now is to have him as a platoon player versus lefties makes no sense. That's what you do with Brandon Crawford when you signed him at the beginning of the season. You brought him on as a platoon guy. Maybe if we see an advantage where we can stick you in the lineup, give Mason Wynn a day off, you'll get some playing time. It's not what you do with a young guy like
Brandon
Jordan
Crawford's
Walker.
at the end.
Exactly.
Walker's at the beginning.
My point exactly. That's what you do with a veteran guy that is on maybe his last leg but still has something to give to a team. You put him in that situation where he can play a couple of games, maybe give you that advantage. You don't do that with a young prospect. They've got to get swings. They've got to get playing time. Whether that's in the major leagues or at AAA, AA, wherever it might be, you got to have these guys constantly in the lineup. And for the Cardinals to not do that, I don't understand it at all. I think it's very poor leadership from that front office to not have that happening.
I could have done without these camp injuries for everyone, but especially for J.J. McCarthy. I think second's probably the Detroit Lions. The Lions were so close last year and could be there again this year. The Lions host the Rams on that first Sunday night game on NBC, but nobody got hit harder than the Vikings.
No, not at all. Definitely some tough blows in Minnesota. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to all FESJC for me the rest of the weekend. Ready for that heavyweight group tomorrow on 1T. The year in golf really is right there with Scotty Scheffler and Xander Schauffele teeing off on number 1 at 12:45.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. Beam me right back here tomorrow. And then how about this, Brett? Beam me to 2 o'clock in the afternoon when the NBA schedule will be released. They're doing it big. They're doing the show on ESPN to release it and talk about all of the big-time games. But we will know what the Grizzlies' schedule looks like for the 2024-25 season.
We got a lot to get in tomorrow.
Oh, man, we talked about this being a quick show tomorrow. With everything we got to talk about tomorrow, it's going to be a quick show tomorrow as well. But no, I mean, it's going to be good because I think, Brett, we've been talking about this whole offseason, just the idea of hope for the fan base, for the fan base, for the team itself, for these players. After what happened last year, it's nice to
get us to opening night.
Let's just get something new. And so tomorrow, getting that schedule, all that hope will be back. I remember last year at this time, we obviously weren't here when it dropped because this tournament was a week earlier. But getting that and going through and saying, okay, these first games that Ja isn't going to be out, that 25, what's the win-loss going to be? What's this team going to look like when Ja Morant gets back? And then quickly we learned, okay, this season is going off the rails. And so people will have that same hope with the schedule, and it'll be fun.
And I think we will. We'll get to some games like the 10th win, where the Grizzlies will get it this year by a date.
Sure.
And we'll look at last year and go, I didn't even feel like that was real.
No, not at all. Completely different in terms of what last year and what this year will be.
You mentioned the Red Hot Astros. We'll watch them tonight at the Rays. Dodgers at Braves at something called American Family Field in Milwaukee. Braves at Giants late at a really great ballpark, Oracle Park in San Francisco. That one first pitches at 8:45.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a good night of Major League Baseball, some really fun games and some good series to keep an eye on. And then, obviously, like we both said, tomorrow morning here at the FedEx St. Jude Championship will be a whole lot of fun at Southwind. Make sure you get out here. If you're out here tomorrow or Friday, make sure you stop by here at the Hub. We're here right off of 18. We're giving away tickets to Memphis and Troy, so make sure you come out and register for that. We'll be here taking those for tomorrow and Friday. Real quickly, want to thank our sponsors, our title sponsor, Landers Ford, our scoreboard sponsor, Sissy's Log Cabin, and all of our other great sponsors like First National Bank, Jason's Deli, Wade Incorporated, your
For Britt and Bryant, this was Sports Time.
Be here for their neighbors while giving back to communities across the state throughout the year, every year. This month, they're honored to stand alongside 1,600 dedicated volunteers as they make this year's annual FedEx St. Jude Golf Tournament fundraiser a resounding success. Giving back to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which helps treat and defeat childhood cancer, is a meaningful effort that is very close to their hearts. This year, their goal is to reach $3 million in donations for kids at St. Jude's, and they couldn't do it without the support of their amazing volunteers. To all the participants, thank you for being a part of this most important endeavor to lift